Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Marine Execution Officer. Roger was executed at the beginning. Chapter 21. IWC, Cake Island. In the castle of Bigmom. Charlotte Linlin sat on her throne and looked at Kaido opposite in surprise. Don't be kidding, Kaido, celestial pirates. Charlotte Linlin's huge body abruptly stood up from the seat and shouted in surprise. Is it Marine, or a member of the world government? Or is it the Revolutionary Army? Charlotte Linlin, who looked incredulous, continued to ask. I don't have to lie, the man shrouded in black robe calls himself Thor Enel. From the celestial pirates, he has a knife that can kill me. Kaido, with his sulky eyes, pointed to the large wound on his right abdomen that had not yet scabbed, and there was a cross-shaped wound that had already formed a scar at the place of the large wound. There are two people who can chop you. Charlotte Linlin's eyes flashed, which was shocking. She is also a crew member on the Rock's ship, and she knows who Kaido is. Kaido said with sullen eyes, what's even more surprising is that the Thunder God still uses the power of Golden Lion Shiki. Shiki's ability. Charlotte Linlin's heart was shaking. This is multi-fruit ability. Sitting back on the throne, Charlotte Linlin lowered her head in thought. Kaido took a hip flask and drank heavily. Mom, we went back to Wano-kuni. Keita Curry knocked on the door and walked in. Keita Curry, what happened to Wano-kuni? Charlotte Linlin's dark eyes widened. Glancing at Kaido who was drinking heavily, Keita Curry continued. Ghost Island, really burned. Wano-kuni returned to Kazuki Oden's hands. Kaido stopped drinking while drinking, the blue veins burst, and purple light appeared in his eyes. Beasts Pirates, a base area that has been in business for many years, has just grown and been destroyed by 90%. That black robe Thor. In Kaido's eyes, unwillingness, anger, and fear of death are intertwined. The momentum is constantly ups and downs. Keita Curry retired at the sign of her aunt. Charlotte Linlin looked at Kaido for a long time. After Roger was executed, the world became more and more incomprehensible. Kaido. Let's join hands. Form an alliance. Quote. Kaido calmed down slowly and nodded. Right on my mind. Kaido and Charlotte Linlin, the two big pirates formally formed an alliance, and quickly spread to the world. A series of things also spread out, shocking the world. In the second half of the Grand Line, the big pirate, Kaido, the strongest creature, was seriously injured. Beasts Pirates was almost wiped out. And these things were all done by a person from the Heavenly Pirates, who called himself Thor Enel. Things about Wano-kuni also came out. One Piece crew, Kazuki Oden Master Wano-kuni. In a short period of time, both names spread all over the world. Celestial Pirates, Thor Enel. Wano-kuni, Kazuki Oden. Marineford, Naval Headquarters, large meeting room. Marshal Sengoku, Hero Garp, Crane Staff Officer, Chief Instructor Zephyr. Aokiji, Kizaru, Headquarter Vice Admiral came most. This is an urgent meeting called by Marshal Sengoku. Except for those who work outside, all those who can come to the headquarters are basically there. Marshal Sengoku sits in the first place. Looking around, his face solemnly said. Deliver two reliable messages. The first one, the big pirate, Kaido of all the beasts, a dominant presence in the second half of the Grand Line. He was seriously injured by a man named Thor Enel in Wano-kuni. Beasts Pirates is almost destroyed. Kaido fled to the nations of Bigmom, gathered the remaining subordinates, and formed a pirate alliance with Bigmom. The second one, Wano-kuni, Kazuki Oden. A few years ago, he followed the One Piece Roger to reach Raftel to complete the feat, Roger's crew. Now he is sure to control Wano-kuni. Quote, Sengoku said both news in one breath. It's all in Wano-kuni. Black Robe Thor Enel, Kazuki Oden, Kaido. Too much information. The scene was silent and shocking. The few people who knew the news in advance had sullen faces and solemn eyes. The rest of the people opened their mouths, their faces in disbelief and shock. Kaido, the strongest creature, was severely injured and escaped. What kind of powerhouse is he who can severely wound Kaido? Two legendary pirates form an alliance. There also appeared a similarly legendary character, the crew of One Piece, Kazuki Oden. This is the Naval Headquarters meeting room. The amazing news from Marine Marshal Sengoku himself. Marshal Sengoku, who the hell is that can seriously wound the monster Kaido? Below, Vice Admiral Huo Shaoshan asked in horror. Kaido was unable to cause damage to Marine under repeated executions. He was seriously injured in Wano-kuni. Heavenly Pirates, Thunder God Enel. Wearing a black robe, you can't see your face. Sengoku shook his head. Too mysterious, unknown origins. God, this pirate group, I have never heard of it. Vice Admiral said, swallowing his throat. Some discussions began in the conference room. Zephyr coughed twice and stood up. Seriously said, everyone, 3 important points. First, we need to check, what is the origin of the newly appearing celestial pirate group, and how many people are there? Second, after Bigmom and Kaido are allied, there will definitely be actions that need to be paid attention to. 3. Odin of Wano-kuni, what should I do? Quote, Teacher Zephyr, are you saying that if there is Thor in the Sky God pirate group, there might be other strong people? Vice Admiral Weasel stood up and said. The strong man who wounded Kaido shocked the Vice Admiral. It can be guessed from the name that if there is Thor, there may be Function, mountain god. We have to prepare for the worst. Quote, Zephyr was a little worried. Compared with the alliance with the pirates, Zephyr is also more worried about the celestial pirates. The mysterious man on the ship was also a black robe. It is possible that the celestial pirates have been hiding in the world for a long time. Wano-kuni closes the island and locks the country. It would be very difficult to capture Odin. Vice Admiral Weasel said again. Wano-kuni is not an alliance country. It has a special geographical location and lack of manpower. It is temporarily impossible to capture Kazuki Odin, and he is now Wano-kuni's general. First issue a wanted order and pay attention to Kazuki Odin's actions afterwards. Quote, Sengoku pushed his glasses and settled Odin's side. Marshal Sengoku, where is Kaido and Bigmom's pirate alliance? Just in case, send more troops and Aokiji will go there. Keep an eye on their actions first. Sengoku looked at the thoughtful Aokiji Kuzan. Yes, Mr. Sengoku, Kuzan responded. Finally, collect information on the celestial pirates. Thor Enel, check everything you can, and bring it back. Quote, Yes, Marshal Sengoku. A crowd responded loudly. The meeting is over. Sengoku sat down slowly. The Vice Admiral got up and left. Aokiji also retired. In the field, Sengoku, Zephyr, Garp, Kizaru, Crane. 5 people are still in the conference room. A long time. It's amazing. We all know why Kaido is called the strongest creature. Garp held his arms, his eyes narrowed slightly. It's terrible, Kaido said when he escaped from the Marineford execution platform. The headquarters made him feel the breath of death and made him run away in horror. Kizaru recalled the scene of catching up with Kaido. In terms of time, it is possible that Thor was within the scope of this department at that time. Staring at Kaido, Kaido flees after feeling the threat of death. Chased Wano-kuni all the way and tried to kill Kaido. Quote, the Crane staff slowly took a sip of the tea on the table, and said. Sengoku, Zephyr, and Garp were all lost in thought. What Crane said is not without reason. There are different places where Kaido can escape frantically. This may be too small. It's best to go to Wano-kuni to learn about the battle. Zephyr thought of the mysterious man. He seemed to have a hunch that this person might be the same. I'll go. Garp stood up. Garp, it's too dangerous for you to go alone. Sengoku said loudly. Well, I'm most afraid of this old guy's mess. Now the second half of the Grand Line is chaotic. Kaido and Bigmom will join forces to attack Garp. Kizaru is the Vice Admiral who stays behind at the headquarters, and the alternate admiral cannot leave at will. Then let me go with Garp. Zephyr stood up at this moment. He is very curious now, and wants to personally identify the mysterious man in black robe. Sengoku pondered for a moment, and finally nodded. The shocking incident that happened this time was enough to change some people. Kaido and Bigmom are examples. Sengoku sighed. On the tumbling sea, the huge pirate ship sailed on the sea. The hull is like a whale, and the bow has the appearance of a smiling whale head. On the mast, a crescent moon and a cross pirate flag fluttered on the skull. This is the Moby Dick of the Whitebeard pirates. Wearing a white cloak, he is 6 meters tall and has a white beard like a crescent moon on a pirate flag. He is the legendary pirate, Whitebeard, Edward Twet. Whitebeard is sitting in the big chair under the mast, drinking fine wine. There were young faces standing around. Diamond Joes, Foil Vista, Sachi, teach. At this time, young Marco ran up from under the boat and shouted, "Father, Daddy, hey, Marco, why are you so anxious?" Whitebeard grumbled and laughed. Marco ran up to Whitebeard. "Father, there is news from Odin." Odin. A smile appeared on Whitebeard's face. The younger brother who hasn't seen him for many years. When the people around heard Odin's news, they gathered around. Yes, something that shocked the world happened in Wano Kuni. Marco revealed solemnity in his eyes, and said slowly. A man who claimed to be the thunder god Enel of the celestial pirate group severely injured Kaido, the beast Kaido in Wano Kuni, and Kaido fled, and later formed a pirate alliance with Big Mom. Whitebeard's eyes narrowed slightly. Thor Enel, wound Kaido badly. Bigmom, Kaido, the two are still mingled together. This happened in Wano Kuni. News spread all over the world. News of Odin also spread, and now Odin sits in Wano Kuni's general. Although Whitebeard was a little shocked that someone could hit Kaido severely, he cared more about his brother Odin. Why is Kaido in Wano Kuni? Whitebeard stood up, frowning. I don't know, Daddy, do we want to see Odin? Whitebeard looked towards the sea. Celestial pirates. Kaido in Wano Kuni. Odin. The other side. Holy place, Mariajoy. 5 elders gathered together. The Kazuki family, Roger's crew, is a hidden danger after all. The tall man in a bald kimono is holding a long knife, and his glasses look fierce. There is also the mysterious celestial pirate group. The newly appearing celestial pirate group is too mysterious, and has only shot once so far. In 5 elders, an old man with a long beard and narrow eyes crossed his hands and said, "You can only watch the changes, but Kazuki Odin, don't forget, they carved the text of the history." It was an uncle with blonde hair and beard and a scar on his left eye. The alliance between Bigmom and Kaido is bound to cause turmoil. This series of news has been received all over the world, which has caused shock and thoughts of all parties. The mysterious pirate group of gods seriously injured Kaido's Thor. Wano Kuni appeared in the world's sight in silence for many years. Bigmom and Kaido's pirate alliance. And the culprit that caused the turmoil in the world. Luo Feng doesn't care about the news outside. In the room, looking excitedly. The spear condensed by thunder and lightning in his hand. Thunder Fruit's awakening does not reveal any power at all, and the strength is gathered together. Luo Feng played with thunder and lightning spears. After the fruit activation progress, he finally completed the awakening of Thunder Fruit. The power of thunder and lightning is more than just transforming into thunder and sending out thunder and lightning attacks. Raiden seemed to have a new life. With one thought, the entire Impel Down will turn into a thunder pond. Condensed in the hands without revealing any power, just like a real weapon. Luo Feng felt that the power was more than several times stronger. In the system space, Devil Fruit has been consumed. There are 11 Brachiosaurus fruits, toothless pterosaur fruits and so on. There are strengths and weaknesses. At the 8th time, the Thunder Fruit ability was finally awakened. Luo Feng, with a happy expression, dissipated the thunder and lightning spear in his hand, ready to continue to improve his ability. At this moment, a jailer ran over. Luo Feng, Rear Admiral. Luo Feng got up and opened the door. What's wrong? When the jailer saw Luo Feng, he was slightly startled, and his face was calm at ordinary times. Today's Rear Admiral still has a smile on the corner of his mouth, and he is in a good mood. Report, Luo Feng, Rear Admiral, a criminal has been executed and has been taken to the 4th floor. Luo Feng heard that there was a prisoner who needed to be executed, so he turned around and put on his cloak and walked with the jailer. Go to the 4th floor. Is it a prisoner on the 5th floor? Yes, the pirate with a bounty of up to 200 million is said to have a special devil fruit ability. A few days ago, Vice Admiral personally caught it. Quote, 200 million, not bad. Luo Feng walked quickly to the elevator. With a bang, it sinks slowly. The 4th floor, blazing hell. The new chief jailer, Little Sachi. A woman with golden bangs covering her eyes and wearing a pink tights. He was beating the prisoner with a whip, screaming with excitement. Little Sachi. Luo Feng strolled over. Ah, Luo Feng, Rear Admiral, you are here, let me hit a few more whips. The prisoner has been tortured all over his body, bruised, in a horrible state of blood and flesh. Little Sachi, leave this to me. Luo Feng pointed to the other prisoners next to him and smiled. Rear Admiral, this is a super vicious criminal. His screams excite me even more. Little Sachi waved the whip in his hand and said to the criminal who offered a reward of 200 million. Oh, super vicious. Yes, trafficking in children to become slaves, colluding with slave labor in the underground world, and killing an entire village. Little Sachi enumerated the crimes the same. Luo Feng also nodded straight when he heard it. Then you continue to enjoy it for a while. Luo Feng knew Xiao Saki's hobbies, so he took a stool and sat up. Prepare to wait for her to enjoy it for a while before being executed. He, thank you Luo Feng Rear Admiral. Ah, a wonderful voice. Little Sachi continued to abuse the prisoner who could only scream, while continuing to say. This guy is still a person with special fruit ability. It is said that Vice Admiral, the Weasel, was played around by him. Special fruit. How special is it? Is it a new demon's? Luo Feng asked from the side. No, it's the fruit of a clone. You can create a clone to act instead of yourself. This guy appears in different places at the same time. It's not clear which one is the real one, which makes Marine a headache. Little Sachi said in her tone. Luo Feng was excited at this time. Double happiness is coming. Just awakened Thunder Fruit. This avatar fruit was delivered to the door by himself. Hey, Little Sachi, don't be beaten to death by you, this is my task. Luo Feng stood up quickly. What should I do if you were beaten to death by you, my reward? Yes, Rear Admiral. Little Sachi closed his hands and smiled, then I'm going to play with my little cutie. Luo Feng nodded, cute. Are your behemoths cute? The execution knife was picked up. The prisoner was dying, watching Luo Feng reluctantly twitched the corner of his mouth. To be free from hell. The knife light flashed. Execution. System prompt. Congratulations to the host for killing the cruel and ferocious pirates, increase your physical fitness by 10, and get the mirror clone of Devil Fruit. Paramesha. Devil Fruit. Mirror Avatar. You can separate an avatar from your own mirror, with a strength of 10%, and kill and execute simultaneously. Quote. Broke out. Luo Feng glanced at the system panel. Went back with a surprise. Today's task has been completed. I can't wait to use the doppelganger fruit. Luo Feng returned to the room. I am used to covering a circle with the color of seeing and hearing. Then took out the clone fruit and bit it. After a while, Luo Feng looks like a mirror is forming in front of him. A clone identical to Luo Feng came out. Wearing Rear Admiral uniform, short black hair, expressionless. The avatar turned around and sat down, rather dull. But according to the fruit's ability, it is possible to share memories and communicate normally. The strength is only 10%, and it will dissipate directly after death. It can exist for up to 2 months, and it will dissipate when the time is up. Luo Feng is delighted that he won't have to be sneaky next time he goes out. You can use your clone to stay and impel down instead of yourself. The main body went out in secret. Luo Feng waved his hand, the avatar turned into particles, and immediately dissipated after the fluctuation. Satisfy. So satisfied. Can't help but laugh for a while. Open the system panel. Host. Luo Feng. Weapon. Top execution knife produced by the system. Skills. Marine 6 styles top level 1 sword flow. Eagle cut top level 1 sword flow. Divine avoidance advanced level Kong Yun cut top level. Boxing advanced. Ability. Observation hockey top level armament hockey top level conqueror's hockey top level. Unawakened fruit. Big Buddha fruit, lion fruit, strong fruit, clone fruit. Barrier fruit, stealth fruit, rusty fruit, snow fruit, light lion fruit. Awakening ability, thunder fruit. Physical fitness, 10,510 10,510. System space, famous knife. Sakura 10, famous knife. Mew withered, devil fruit. There are 3 useless devil fruits left. Luo Feng touched his chin. Then finish awakening the fruits of Logia first. The system will develop the snow fruit ability for devil fruit that is left in the space. A strange state came. A crystal snowflake appeared in Luo Feng's eyes, floating slowly. The power of ice and snow. The strange state remained for a few minutes, and Luo Feng withdrew from the state. It turned out to be 50% developed. One of the remaining fruits is stronger, and snow fruit has reached half of the progress. Luo Feng took a deep breath, and all the rewards he received turned into his own strength. The awakened thunder, the half-progress snow fruit. There are only a few weapons left in the system space. Strength has taken a big step forward again. Those who are strong or guilty will explode their abilities and items after execution. Some young people tend to have only 1 point of physical improvement. Quote. Luo Feng opened the window and looked at the sea, looking far away. To talk about the evil of pirate world, I am afraid it must be celestial dragons. I think I am the master of the world and trample on all life. I don't know, what kind of reward will the execution of celestial dragons be? Luo Feng then shook his head. I can't afford it now, just go to work. Just when Luo Feng was at Impel Down, he entered the day when he was clocking in at work again. Near Sabayati Archipelago, 10,000 meters under the sea. That is the Fishmen Island wrapped in huge foam. Murlocs in the underwater palace. The king of the Fishmen Island, with a huge body and a lush orange-red hair and beard. Neptune was on the throne with his fishtail bent. Next to him is the princess, Otahime, with long golden wavy hair and a fish-scale robe. A murloc with a turban, a wide mouth and a black beard, Fisher Tiger half-kneeled in front of Neptune. To free the slaves. Are you serious? Neptune narrowed his eyes and said solemnly. Tiger half-kneeled on the ground, lowered his head and answered seriously. Of course it's serious, I can't stand it anymore. Slaves simply live in hell on earth. They still endure treatment they shouldn't have. Quote. But, Neptune wanted to say something softly. I have decided, Your Majesty Neptune. Tiger stood up and continued. Because it will cause trouble to the king and the princess, so I have to come to inform in advance. Tiger's eyes were full of determination. What on earth did you watch during this journey? Facing the king's question, Tiger clenched his fist tightly, recalling the unbearable past. A long time, Tiger set out, his eyes throbbing and said, Human. I saw human being. Morning. Under Impel Down, he screamed and wailed, revealing a hell of despair and horror. On the ground floor, there was a gentle breeze, under the gentle sunshine. On the city wall, Luo Feng moved a deck chair and was lying there enjoying the rare gentle sunshine. Today's execution mission hasn't come yet, so let's enjoy the sun comfortably. The suffocation caused by the execution seemed to slowly dissipate in the sun. Therefore, Luo Feng often went to the top of the city wall to expose himself. Luo Feng Rear Admiral, Luo Feng Rear Admiral. From below, Lieutenant Colonel Marine hurried over. Here, Luo Feng closed his eyes and replied. Ah, Luo Feng Rear Admiral. The Lieutenant Colonel saluted, and continued. The headquarters is an urgent task, dispatching Rear Admiral to sea to chase slaves. Luo Feng was surprised. Slave? Yes, just last night, the Murloc Fisher Tiger sneaked into the Holy Land Mariajoy. Arson was everywhere to create chaos and took the opportunity to release the slaves in the Holy Land slave town. Celestial dragons furious, Mr. Kizaru has followed celestial dragons to pursue. Quote. Said the Lieutenant Colonel in a quick tone. Fisher Tiger, it's him. The hero who freed slaves was the first to provoke the authority of the world government. Luo Feng suddenly jumped off the wall. I am the execution officer of Impel Down, why did you let me go? Luo Feng whispered. The Lieutenant Colonel heard it too, and said with a wry smile. Luo Feng Rear Admiral, there is no other way. Soon after the Wanokuni incident, most of the headquarters went out. Even the Honorable Garp and Teacher Zephyr went out. The headquarters currently lacks manpower. The Lieutenant Colonel paused and whispered. And the 3 slaves that celestial dragons liked ran away, so Marine must be ordered to chase them back. Only then did Luo Feng react a little. Just now you said that celestial dragons and Mr. Kizaru went out to chase after him. Yes, I just set off from Mariajoy earlier, maybe I have caught up with some slaves now. I see. Luo Feng nodded, but thoughts in his heart. Celestial dragons. The naval headquarters was empty, with only one Kizaru by his side. This is an opportunity. Luo Feng went back and picked up the execution knife, and took a small backpack. The Rear Admiral uniform was draped over his shoulders. The 2 prominent words behind. Justice. Let's go, chase. Followed the Lieutenant Colonel and boarded the warship. Hundreds of Marine non-commissioned officers on the ship were ready. Luo Feng, Rear Admiral. Luo Feng was the only general officer on the ship, and the Marines saluted them. Set off. Luo Feng nodded and waved to order. The gate of justice slowly opened, and the warship drove out slowly. Drive in the direction of pursuit. The other side. On the blue sea. On a small wooden boat. The 6 escaped slaves are fleeing anxiously on the ship. They desperately drove the power of the ship. Although the wooden boat is not big or small, it goes quickly along the ocean current. Thanks to Mr. Tiger, we also left the ship for us. A naked uncle, with gratitude on his panicked face. Just last night, Fisher Tiger climbed onto the Red Line, sneaked into the Holy Land Mariajoy and released them all. They have escaped all night, till now in the morning. The anxious faces of the people on the ship carried the luck after fleeing. Next to the cabin, the 3 little girls leaned together, tears still on their faces at the corners of their eyes. Finally escaped. The other 2 men also had rejoicing expressions. But I saw hoof-like marks on the arms, neck, and back. Make them extremely panic. The slave town of celestial dragons. There is hell on earth. How unbearable. Even though Mr. Tiger is a murloc, he treats us humans equally. It's so grateful. I don't know how Mr. Tiger is now, whether he has escaped. There are others. The 3 male slaves who escaped were talking about it as they speeded up. Nor did the 3 little girls come up and sail the boat. 3 little girls, what are your names? The man with the mark on his arm asked the 3 little girls, who bowed their heads in silence. And the 3 little girls seemed to not pay attention to them. Forget it, they are all children, the oldest is just over 10 years old, must be brutally treated there. The man with the mark on his neck sighed. The favorite of celestial dragons is this kind of little girl, except for the giants and the murlocs. Even if they escaped, the marks on their bodies would become a lifetime nightmare and humiliation. Among the little girls, one is more than 10 years old, with smooth black hair, delicate face, and full-blown beauty. This black-haired little girl is Boa Hancock. The 2 beside her are her younger sisters, but they have snake-like faces. The second sister, Boya Sandersonia. The third sister, Boya Maragruder. After all, they were still young, and the Hancock 3 hadn't recovered from the hellish environment. Even though Mariajoy had been far away on the boat, the 3 couldn't help but tears. Hancock thought of the humiliation of the 3 of them that day. He was also fed by celestial dragons to the tragic experience of devil fruit. Tears couldn't help falling. Child, we have escaped. As long as we escape from this sea area, we will remain anonymous and be free. The uncle with the mark on his neck couldn't help but comfort him. Hancock shook his head. The mark on his body, but he can't escape for a lifetime. At this time, far behind them, a warship is approaching quickly. Wearing white exclusive clothes, there is also a round transparent hood on the head. Celestial dragons with small sunglasses, standing in front of the deck of the warship, looking forward eagerly. A group of armored soldiers and marines behind him. Kizaru, wearing a marine uniform and a yellow shirt, was also standing beside him. Celestial Dragons was eagerly scolding at this time. Waste, all waste. He glanced at the listless Kizaru next to him, and yelled anxiously. Kizaru, how long will it take? Those 3 slaves were fed to devil fruit by me, they are my 3 favorite slaves. Kizaru fished out his ears and said casually. Holy Rosward, it should be ahead, we set off a bit late. A man in black kneeling on the ground was sweating profusely, and whispered. Saint Rosward, their boat can't run our warship, please be patient. Saint Rosward was even more furious after hearing this, and turned his head and kicked the man in black with his feet fiercely. Kizaru ignored him. As the alternate admiral, Marine is only assigned and protected by celestial dragons. Street. Rosward kicked it a few times and seemed tired. Takes out a pistol. You, drag my 2 remaining slaves. The man in black hurried to the cabin. Since they are all gone, then I will kill all the slaves and replace them with new ones, ha ha ha. Saint Rosward shook his mustache and smiled so that everyone around him broke into a cold sweat. Since they are all gone, then I will kill all the slaves and replace them with new ones, ha ha ha. Saint Rosward shook his mustache and smiled so that everyone around him broke into a cold sweat. After a while, the man in black led 2 slaves over. One is a young woman, the other is a strong man. They wore slave collars around their necks, an iron chain tied their necks, and red cushions on their backs. His face is all numb and obedient. Like an animal, he walked over with his hands and feet on the ground and was led by a man in black. Yahaha. Celestial dragons showed no signs. Boom. Shoot the strong slave man with one shot. He was shot in the head and fell down with a plop, blood flowing. The man in black was frightened and sat on the ground. The surrounding armored soldiers and marine watched this scene in horror and swallowed their throats. Kizaru was also stunned for a while. He didn't turn his head for a long time. Celestial dragons, so cruel. You humble slave, it's not fun at all. Saint Rosward kicked the corpse a few times, waved, and the armored soldier dragged the corpse down. Fear and cold sweat appeared on the numb face of the remaining woman slave. It seems that killing a slave slowed Saint Rosward. Hey, I'm tired. Saint Rosward sat down on the young woman's body. Someone immediately brought a drink. Saint Rosward took a sip and turned to look at Kizaru on the bow. Kizaru, did you find them, my 3 slaves? No, Saint Rosward, it hasn't arrived yet. Kizaru didn't turn his head either. The 3 humble slaves, I want to personally let them experience the pain when I caught them. Ah ha ha ha. Saint Rosward seems to be imagining how to abuse the slave when he is caught. It stopped. Celestial dragons, who claim to be descendants of the Creator, are nobles in the world. Never treat civilians as human beings and have huge rights. Saint Rosward treats civilians as slaves, arrogant and cruel. Except for Kizaru, the rest of the warship trembled. At this time, Luo Fang's ship and celestial dragons passed by at a far distance. Luo Fang's warship searched all the way from Impel down. Using the telescope, the ship of celestial dragons was also seen passing by. Rear Admiral, that seems to be Rosward Saint and Mr. Kizaru, do you need to lean over? The Lieutenant Colonel said with a telescope. No, there are celestial dragons, do you want to go? Luo Fang glanced at the Lieutenant Colonel. Ah, don't want to. Let's search for ours and report back when we go back. Luo Fang said to the surrounding Marines. The soldiers didn't think there was anything. Everyone understands in their hearts that the scope search is just a way of doing it. There are celestial dragons over there, and no one wants to be in trouble in the past. At this time, Luo Fang had a small calculation. Celestial dragons, executed, what kind of reward will there be? Nobles of the world, it does not exist in front of the system. Luo Fang is naturally aware of the cruelty of celestial dragons, whether in a previous life or a few years in this world. Hockey flashed past his eyes. Continued to sail a little further, and then Kizaru's side. Judging from the direction of escape, the 3 slaves of Saint Rosward ran here. The warship naturally moved forward at full speed. And even if Hancock followed the ocean current, it was far behind the speed of a warship. The distance is constantly getting closer. The 3 male slaves were already very tired. Rest on the boat board. There is no food in the boat. They are hungry and thirsty. The 3 sisters also calmed down. Take the initiative to go up and provide power for the hull. Get to the mainland islands earlier and be saved earlier. At this time, the faces of the 3 men who were resting suddenly changed. Extremely panic. Army, warship. The 3 were desperate and shouted in fear. The Hancock 3 also heard voices. Ran out. Far away. Army green hull and white flag. Although it still looks like a small black spot. Hancock's pupils dilated, his expression panicked, and he dragged his 2 younger sisters back into the boat. The warship has caught up. Think of the hellish slave days. Death will never let them catch again. Hancock calmed a little bit from the panic. Looking at the 2 sisters, the voice that hadn't spoken for a long time made a hoarse voice. We flee with all our strength. The 2 sisters obeyed Hancock's words in fear, and transformed into 2 snakes by using Devil Fruit's ability. Desperately break the hull. This boat is an ordinary small sailboat, which is propelled by artificial power. The power that broke out after the transformation of the 2 sisters also made the ship a lot faster. The 3 slave men were already in a panic, and they ran in to see the 2 girls who had turned into snakes. They were even more frightened. Finally, under the pressure of the warship, they bite the bullet and power the ship together. The boat was about to get on. On the warship, Saint Rosward seemed to think enough, stood up, took the knife and sneered at the female slave. I'll try it on you first, if the effect is okay. I used those 3 humble slaves. Yahahaha. The female slave did not even dare to retreat, lying motionless on the ground. Saint Rosward slashed away. Cold sweat broke out on the slave's head, but he dared not scream. Continued to cross out. The soldiers around turned aside their heads and couldn't bear to look down. Street. Rosward. Kizaru yelled back. What's wrong, Kizaru? Saint Rosward also had a cruel smile. No, I suddenly forgot. Kizaru shook his head. Rosward Saint, who was suddenly called out, was no more interested. He raised the muzzle around his waist and prepared to kill the slave. By the way, they are all killed, and new ones are issued. Killing a person seems to celestial dragons to be ordinary and normal. Just when the trigger is about to be pulled, there is a boat ahead. Kizaru standing on the bow said. Street. Lima in Rosward was attracted. Go to the bow and look forward. Where? It's really a ship. Catch up, catch up. Saint Rosward turned his head and shouted at his hands. Yes, the warship chased it quickly. The distance is getting closer, and the hull is getting clearer. Saint Rosward, who was looking with the spectacles, saw the 3 sisters on the deck and shouted. It's my slave. Sink it for me and catch the 3 little girls alive. Respond from behind. Yes. The cannon of the warship aimed at the small sailing ship ahead, firing multiple gunfire. Without a head-on hit, the shells exploded from the sea also caused the boat to shake violently. The 3 slave men on the ship were desperate and their faces were gray. Hancock, who was held in fear by his sister, was also full of despair and fear. Still caught up. Aim and hit me. Ah ha ha ha. Saint Rosward completely forgot his idea of capturing slaves alive, and smiled grimly. The warship is already leaning on. The man in black jumped down with 2 armored soldiers, about to catch Hancock alive. Hello, celestial dragons, a hoarse voice sounded. The mysterious man in black robes suddenly appeared on the mast of the warship. The man in black is the Luo Fang. 2 ships have been very far apart. Specially turned a little direction, opposite to the celestial dragon's boat sailing. Then left Avatar Luo Fang, wearing a black gown all the way after chase over. Hancock had just been arrested 3 men on deck, Rhodes Ward Street, Kizaru and so on. Everyone is surprised to see Luo Fang to the top of the black robe. Marine who reacted over. He raised his arms and shouted. Who? Husky black robe Luo Fang said. God pirates, snow god. Celestial dragons to take life. What? Beneath a crowd revealed the expression of horror. This is the mass of swirling recently god pirates. There are snow god. It killed the world's aristocracy celestial dragons. Rhodes Street. Ward is hopping, angry shouted. People under the lowly and so on, dare offend me. Give me you caught him. I want to torture him. Black robe Luo Fang directly ignored the celestial dragons. Celestial dragons is great. It's you, God, pirates. Light flashing, Kizaru appeared on another mast. It seems Zephyr teacher said yes, how many of you there God? Kizaru saying one of insouciance, the heart is very dignified treatment. Kill an outspoken champion of the world aristocracy, celestial dragons. Fear is as strong as Thor. Kizaru, as you cannot see. Luo Fang said lightly, it's Marine's job to protect celestial dragons. It's very embarrassing, snow god. Kizaru scratched his head and said, really, there is no way. After Luo Fang finished speaking, the atmosphere was instantly drawn. The Marines below have all heard the news that the celestial pirates defeated Kaido. They swallowed their throats one after another. The black robe Luo Fang slowly fell onto the deck. Slowly walked towards St. Rosward. Everyone at Marine swallowed their throats. What is he going to do? Kill celestial dragons, this is an enemy to the world. The 3 Hancock sisters looked at Luo Fang, a man in black robes, who walked slowly, with dull eyes but a little expectation. Boom, a gunshot sounded. Celestial Dragon's Rosworth took up his pistol angrily and fired at Luo Fang. The bullet passed directly through Luo Fang, and the round hole on the black robe recovered. Logia. Everyone was shocked. Every Logia-capable person is terrible. Go on, you guys go on. Sweat on Rosward's face, angering the soldiers around him. Marine soldiers are afraid, but in their deep-rooted thinking about celestial dragons, can only bite the bullet. He raised his pistol and shot continuously, and even used shells directly. Luo Feng, a black robe not far away, was covered by artillery fire and filled with smoke. The Marines stopped until the deck cracked. Street. Rosward laughed loudly. Now you know it's amazing, despicable inferior. You dare to be disrespectful to the nobles of the world. World nobleman, it's really a big title. Haipao Luo Feng stepped out of the smoke step by step, still at the same pace as before. Slowly, walked towards celestial dragons. The marine soldiers raised their guns again, ready to do it again. It's useless, Logia's body, it's not something that can be hurt. Kizaru's voice came and stopped the marine soldiers. If no one is hit, the deck will be blown up by them. Saint Rosward retreated trembling step by step, and retreated to the bow fence. The look in his eyes was terrified, this inferior person really wanted to kill himself. View. A laser beam came from behind. Luo Feng in the black robe didn't even turn his head back, all in the master under the powerful experience. His hands were covered with red and black hockey, and a punch hit the beam. The beam was directly deflected and shot to the surface of the sea. Boom! A huge spray exploded on the surface of the sea. Kizaru's eyes were dignified, and his light beam was shot flying. The Marines and Saint Rosward's eyes were protruding, and they were terrified. The laser light was blown away by one punch. Haipao Luo Feng didn't even change his pace, he still looked at celestial dragons and walked away. Celestial dragons, what can they reward? Kizaru, stop him, stop him. Saint Rosward is full of fear, and the coldness on the black-robed man is too scary. Kizaru turned into light and appeared on Luo Feng's side. The Marines quickly dispersed and got too close. Have you heard that speed is power? Before the words were over, Kizaru kicked over with a kick at the speed of light. Boom! The light enveloped Luo Feng, but there was no explosion, only a sonic boom. Luo Feng's hand covered in red and black hockey grabbed Kizaru's leg. Kizaru's forehead was sweating, and he was trying to melt away. Luo Feng caught it and threw it back. Kizaru was thrown away in the light. Still the pace did not slow down, and walked slowly. The Marines were already there, their jaws falling to the ground. Kizaru Vice Admiral's lightspeed kick was caught in the leg and was thrown away. The three Hancock's pupils trembled, and they slowly moved to the side. Luo Feng under the black robe is getting closer and closer to celestial dragons. Saint Rosward was already sitting directly on the ground, looking at this black robe figure in horror. Humble inferior, you go to die. Go to die. Roswald shot Luo Feng at Saint Hister, with crazy eyes in his eyes. The bullet passed directly through Luo Feng's body. 8-foot mirror. The light flashed by, and Kizaru who was thrown away came back. The light condenses on Luo Feng's side. Just pretend you can't make it back. Luo Feng shook his head, then don't blame me for being rude. Take out an ordinary long knife in the system space. The red hockey was wrapped around the blade. Kizaru saw Luo Feng in the black robe with a knife in his hand. Both hands condensed. Heaven Kong Yun sword. Luo Feng turned around and raised his knife. Kong Yun. Cut. Hockey was violent on the sword, and fell towards Kizaru. Kizaru's expression changed instantly. This knife. Too strong. Want to avoid but it is too late. Tian Kong Yun Jian lay in front of him, trying to block it. The blade has not yet touched the sky cluster cloud sword. This lightsaber condensed by light, shattered. Kizaru had only this knife left in his eyes, facing the violent hockey, the armed color and conquerors intertwined. The pupils of the eyes dilated, and the figure wanted to recede. Puff! This is the clothes torn apart, the skin was torn apart, and it was chopped into the flesh. Kizaru was killed directly. It's too late for the light. Boom! Hit the mast straight, the mast broke and fell backward. A long wound appeared on Kizaru's chest, and blood flew across. The three Hancock sisters moved closer to each other, their eyes blank. Mr. Kizaru. The Marines screamed in surprise. It's indescribable shock. One knife. Marines alternate admiral, Kizaru, was cut in the chest frontally. Falling to the ground and unable to move. Luo Feng did not go to see it again. Go forward and stand in front of celestial dragons. Saint Rosward sat on the ground, his eyes filled with despair, and he let out a sharp cry. Under et al. Take out a dagger and stab Luo Feng. It's like slashing through the air, no effect. The force of ice and snow blows. Saint Rosward kept his expression of horror and despair and turned into an ice sculpture. Stop. Kizaru watched, trying to stand up but had no strength. He could only press on the wound in his chest, and the blood flowed from his body. The snow god is really going to cut celestial dragons. Luo Fang ignored it, looking at the ice sculpture in front of me, the distorted face of celestial dragons. The sin is unforgivable. Execution, Luo Fang said hoarsely. Raised the knife and dropped it. Beheaded. It was like a depth bomb that exploded in the hearts of the three sisters Kizaru, Marine soldiers, and Hancock on the ship. Celestial dragons, the nobles of the world. Beheaded. A dull face, after a few seconds of silence. Panic. Dumbfounded. An unprecedented first time. Celestial dragons have been killed. Kizaru opened his eyes wide, looking at the dead Lord Rosward. His eyes were full of incredible and shock. Someone really dared to decapitate celestial dragons. This is the breaking of the rules. The world will, turbulent. Luo Fang didn't feel that there was anything wrong, and turned around to take a look at the three sisters of Hancock. Under the sea breeze, the hem of the black robe fluttered. Hancock looked at the black figure, which was deeply imprinted in his heart. Luo Fang did not speak. Turning around, he disappeared in place instantly. Hancock only realized this, and took the two younger sisters and quickly jumped onto the small sailboat. Speed up to escape. Kizaru and Marine soldiers didn't care about it, and didn't want to care about it anymore. The shock in their hearts has not passed. On the small sailboat, the three slave men had been killed there, and the three of Hancock took a look. Just speed up and escape, and it will be over when Marine reacts. Luo Fang quickly returned to his warship and cancelled the clone. Kizaru's warship had signaled as early as Luo Fang appeared in black robes. After receiving the message, the lieutenant colonel turned around under the instructions of the clone. After Luo Fang came back, he was not very far from Kizaru. Hancock didn't know if he woke up and ran away. Luo Fang muttered inaudibly. "Rear Admiral, what did you say?" asked the lieutenant colonel not far away. "I didn't speak." Luo Fang waved his hand. "Yes." The lieutenant colonel scratched his head and continued. "Rear Admiral, what did you say that the pirate dared to go to the Celestial Dragon's warship, and even sent a call signal?" "I don't know, let's go over and have a look." Luo Fang walked out of the cabin and walked to the bow. The lieutenant colonel followed. "I see it, just ahead." Kizaru's warship appeared in the sight of Luo Fang and others. When they got to the side of the warship, they discovered that all the masts on the ship were broken. He set up the bridge and walked over. The Marines on the warship were all overwhelmed. The deck is in tatters, the bow is still covered with white cloth, and some ice flag is around. Both Luo Fang and the lieutenant colonel's expressions agree. A perfectly synchronized expression, Luo Fang thought to himself, then stopped a Marine and said, "What's wrong, Kizaru Vice Admiral?" "Rear Admiral. You are late, Kizaru Vice Admiral is in the cabin." The soldier was very lost and walked to the deck without looking back, numbly repairing. The lieutenant colonel looked at Luo Fang. "Rear Admiral, this is not right, celestial dragons didn't see it either." Luo Fang pretended to nod. "Yeah, I also found out. I'll know why when I see Kizaru Admiral." After speaking, "Go to the cabin." The lieutenant colonel followed. In the main cabin, Kizaru was wrapped in a bandage, and a ship doctor was applying medicine by his side. Seeing Luo Fang and others come in, he leaned his forehead to tell the story. After listening to the incident, I looked at Kizaru's pale face with throbbing eyes. Luo Fang and the lieutenant colonel looked surprised and shocked. Luo Fang's breathing was rapid, his reaction was in place, and the performance was seamless. Kizaru was badly injured and didn't want to talk anymore, and stopped talking after a few confessions. After a few words of concern, the two retired. After exiting, he boarded the ship and started returning. "Rear Admiral, this is amazing. As soon as the news spreads, the world will boil. Celestial dragons." The lieutenant colonel couldn't recover for a long time. "Yes." Luo Fang was also very thoughtful. "Contemplate the rewards in your mind." System prompt. Congratulations to High Host for killing the evil, cruel, and sinful celestial dragons, and get a high-level system reward. You wipe. The system actually says congratulations. There are also premium rewards. This is never expected. System, What is the premium reward? Luo Feng asked in his mind. Senior level is obtained only after the execution of a person who has reached a certain level of sin. It contains a random stamina boost, plus a random devil fruit, and a gift pack with random abilities. At least 500 points of physical improvement. Quote. Meaning, 3 things will be gained: physical stamina, devil fruit, and ability. Yes. Luo Feng was extremely excited and returned to the cabin alone. System, quickly turn on the reward. Okay. 3 rotating pictures appeared in his mind, and they froze after a few seconds. Luo Feng understood the first number, which is 600. In other words, can you improve your physical fitness by 600? Congratulations to the host for opening the gift pack, gaining a 600 stamina boost and rewarding devil fruit. Mara fruit. Conquerors boosted by 100%. Worthy of being celestial dragons, the rewards are so rich. Another Logia. The flame power of Ace in the future, Mara fruit. Conquerors also raises a level again. System, can top hockey be improved? Luo Feng was a little surprised. Yes, host. Fruit ability and hockey strength can be improved. There is no limit to the improvement of hockey. Hockey will also be promoted in the reward, and the probability is small. Devil fruit can also be used to improve hockey, but the effect is relatively weak. The voice of the mechanization of the system replied. Luo Feng was stunned. The fruit can improve hockey. Since it can be used to develop capabilities, it can also be used to improve hockey. After all, it's a system, why didn't I expect it? Luo Feng's eyes were bright. When impelled down, are you afraid that there will be no rewards? There will only be more and more demon fruit power imprisoned there. In other words, just get the progress of devil fruit development. Ascension hockey, the world of invincible One Piece is at hand. Luo Feng is ecstatic. The palm-sized Mara fruit was taken out from the system space. Swallowed 2 or 3 mouthfuls. A heat flow is generated in the body, and it gets hotter and hotter. Luo Feng felt the changes of Mara fruit. When I felt hot, my body returned to normal. Slowly raised a finger, the ability was activated, and the finger turned into a burning flame. The harvest this time completely surpassed Luo Feng's imagination. Luo Feng resisted the urge to laugh out loud and slowly eased his ecstasy. System, open the properties panel. Host, Luo Feng. Weapon, top execution knife produced by the system. Skills, Marine 6 styles top level 1 sword flow. Eagle cut top level 1 sword flow. Divine avoidance advanced level Kong Yun cut top level. Boxing advanced. Ability, observation hockey 100%, armament hockey 100%, conquerors hockey 200%. Unawakened fruit, big Buddha fruit, lion fruit, strong fruit, avatar fruit, Mara fruit. Barrier fruit, stealth fruit, rusty fruit, snow fruit, light lion fruit. Awakening ability, thunder fruit. Physical fitness, 11,110 11,110. System space, famous knife. Sakura 10, famous knife. Mew withered, ordinary long sword. There have been some changes in the hockey column, from the level display to the numerical display. Luo Feng smiled satisfied. Ahead, Ennie's lobby can already see, and Marine's triangular ocean current is also in front. Luo Feng put away his thoughts. Go back and continue to clock in at work. Just after Luo Feng returned to impel down, Kizaru returned to Mariajoy with the body of celestial dragons. Holy Land Mariajoy. Outside the palace, Kizaru, who was wearing a bandage and looking pale, walked out with his head down. Inside the palace, after listening to the report of 5 elders, his face was hard to see ultimate, his eyes throbbed, and his shocked emotions showed on his face. The tall man in a kimono wearing round glasses, one of the 5 elders, had a strong killing intent in his eyes. He gritted his teeth and said, Tianjin Pirate Group. How dare it? Celestial Dragons, a world nobleman, represents the authority of the world government, and represents that the rules for hundreds of years have been broken. This time the matter is too big. If the rules are broken, the world will set off a huge wave. Thunder God, Snow God. 2 people claiming to be gods have appeared. Send a wanted warrant first, and the people of the Rosward Holy family will definitely make a big fuss. 5 elders talked, and the golden beard with the round head stood up and said, Let's go, let's meet Lord Yim. The other four were startled and nodded. For such a big matter, it is necessary to take the initiative to meet Lord Yim. The 5 people are dignified, walking nervously to a mysterious place in Mariajoy. Evening, Marineford, Naval Headquarters Meeting Room. Marine soldiers, Luo Fang, and Kizaru were also present. After receiving instructions from 5 elders, Marshal Sengoku summoned all the generals who could come to the headquarters. Sengoku, with an ugly expression and horror, looked at Kizaru. The injured Kizaru sat on the chair and told the scene. What? All the Marines, including Sengoku, broke out in cold sweat on their foreheads and looked horrified. Although Sengoku knew in advance that celestial dragons had been killed, when he heard the person say it again. Very shocked. For so many years, all Marine knows about Kizaru's strength, and there is no problem with being in the position of Admiral. An alternate for Admiral, Marine's highest combat power, was seriously injured by a slash. Watching celestial dragons be frozen into ice and beheaded. My attack was completely useless to him, even the ability of sparkling fruit was slashed by him. Kizaru recalled the scene at the time and spoke slowly. Mr. Kizaru, this is incredible. The Marine officer below didn't seem to believe it, and said in a questioning tone. How can it be? At this time, Marshal Sengoku patted the table and took a deep breath. Looking at the talking Rear Admiral, his eyes were harsh and loudly said. Rear Admiral, this is Naval Headquarters. Kizaru is Marine Vice Admiral. Admiral alternate. The Rear Admiral swallowed, eyes widened, and tremblingly said. Yes, Marshal, it's just that. Sengoku stood up, looked around the audience, and said solemnly. Celestial dragons were killed, Admiral-class combat power was chopped. This is the truth. The audience was sluggish, throated, breathing cold, and eyes full of horror. Luo Feng also pretended to be decent in it. Sengoku continued to explode and shouted. Although this incident is appalling, we are Marine. The celestial pirates are equally scrupulous. The world government has issued a reward order, offering a reward of 1.5 billion, Snow God. What we have to do is to deal with the next sea situation. Celestial dragons are killed, the taboo is broken. Then some pirates are bound to riot. There will even be fanatics attacking Marineford and the Holy Land. Get ready for the turmoil. Marines, what we maintain is justice and order. Quote. Yes. Below the Marines were silent for a few seconds, and responded loudly. Luo Feng also said loudly. I can't help but wonder, the effect of Sengoku encouragement is really good. Although Marine officers horrified the strength of the celestial pirate group, their inner justice is still there. Contact Garp, Zephyr, and Sakazuki back. We have to lay out a new line of defense, so that the pirates cannot continue to be arrogant. Sengoku began to give orders. The Ministry of Communications Rear Admiral should say so loudly. Except for the execution officers of the prisons, send more troops to the sea. With Mariajoy as the center, capture pirates across the board. Yes, Marshal Sengoku. Marshal Sengoku gave orders one after another. Marine officers led away. In the meeting room, Sengoku and Suru's staff were left. Sengoku changed his previous marshal's aura and sat down and pondered. Sengoku. Crane's staff sighed. The world is getting chaotic, Crane. It's been a long time since Kaido was seriously injured, and now Celestial Dragons has been killed again. What the Celestial Pirates did. It will bring about major changes. The majesty of the world government will be severely hit, and the arrogance of the pirates will become even more arrogant. Quote. Sengoku raised his head slightly, staring at Suru with solemn eyes and said. The world government will definitely take action this time. Celestial dragons were actually killed. Crane nodded and continued. It's just that the celestial pirates are too mysterious, and the world government may not be able to find them. There is no rigorous arrangement found. The 2 shots shocked the world, and both times there were top powerhouses. And we know nothing about it, only 2 names, Thor and Snow God. Quote. Sengoku was distressed. During his tenure, he encountered so many troubles involving world peace in a short period of time. Crane, Shichibukai's plan, what do you think? Shichibukai. Crane bowed his head and said nothing. Shichibukai's new system is not known whether it is good or bad. Marshal Sengoku looked back at the map on the wall and said solemnly. The second half of the Grand Line has already been called the New World by the world. Whitebeard Twisted Gate, BIGMOM, Kaido and other former Rocks pirate figures. At first it was called the New World Sea King. Now there are the daring heavenly god pirates. The crane staff picked up the teacup in his hand and said slowly. Perhaps you are right, Sengoku. After the meeting, Luo Feng returned to Impel Down. It can be expected that Marine will do its best to attack the pirates for a period of time to show the majesty of the world government. Then, more fierce pirates are bound to be caught and executed by Impel Down. I'm afraid it will be very busy on working days. Do you want to bask in the sun every day? Just when Luo Feng, the culprit who stirred the world, was considering whether to get more sun exposure, the celestial pirates attacked again, severely injured Kizaru, and news of the killing of celestial dragons swept the world like a hurricane. After Thor, the name of Snow God is also well known by various forces. The first shot, offering a reward of 1.5 billion. The second half of the Grand Line. A small island in New World. A blonde man wearing sunglasses, a pink feather coat and cropped trousers is lying on a beach chair. A voice came from the phone worm in my hand. The celestial pirates made another move, seriously injured Kizaru, beheaded celestial dragons. Marine. After the blonde man listened, he was stunned for a moment. Then he laughed wildly. God, kill celestial dragons. Ha 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 ha. On the other side, it is also New World. There are few trees on a relatively deserted island. In a cave, there was a loud noise. Boom, the cave on the hill burst directly. On the side of the hill, a group of little brothers fled out in a panic. The whole island is shaking. Dark clouds rolled in the sky, and purple thunder and lightning flashed. Tianjin pirates. Thor, Kaido, the black hair holding a new mace, has red eyes, blue veins violently, and a terrifying knife wound under his right abdomen. Is smashing the mountain crazily. One has ivory on his head and is tall. The man with steel guards stood up to the strong wind not far away, and persuaded nervously. Master Kaido, if you hit the island, it will sink. Kaido shook his body and stopped, whispering. Another snow god came out and injured Kizaru. 2 gods, how many strong are there in the heavenly god pirate group? Quote. The heavenly pirates, if they are all such strong guys. Thinking of the knife, Kaido's fear came out again, waving his mace and roaring. A group of little brothers were sweating on their heads. Hey, Jack. How is the staff? After a long time, Kaido turned around and asked, his eyes gloomy and terrifying. A batch has been prepared. Our staff is also increasing. Jack answered carefully. Very good. Get on the boat and go to IWC. Kaido took Jack and a group of pirates, and set sail for All Nations. At this time, the waters of All Nations, Cake Island. BIGMOM also got news of the death of celestial dragons. Below, Charlotte Perospero, Katakuri, Daifuku and other children are standing. The celestial pirates made another move, seriously injuring Marine Kizaru and beheading celestial dragons in front of Marine. What is this going to do? It was too horrified. Everyone was shocked. BIGMOM sat on the throne, his eyes were grimace, and he said in a low voice. They did things that many people were afraid to do and broke the rules. Then he burst into laughter. This world is interesting, isn't it, kids? Hip hop haha. The reward for the first time reached 1.5 billion. What is the origin of this heavenly god pirate group, and how many gods do they have? Quote. Perospero said in shock. A Thor seriously injured Kaido. A snow god seriously injured Kizaru of Naval Headquarters. Others are also shaking their eyes, and 2 gods have appeared. How many powerhouses does the heavenly pirate group have? Perospero couldn't even close his mouth, and said. It's really too messy. The sky god pirates. Mom, the world government and Marine must do their best to suppress the pirates and restore their majesty. What about our affairs? Quote. Perospero says. We don't worry, we can slow down. BIGMOM stopped laughing, his eyes flashed fiercely and said. Yes, mother. On the huge whale ship, the Moby Dick. Nani. Marco holding the news that had just arrived in his hand, he let out a shocked sound. Marco, what's the matter? The people around were shocked. Marco looked at them with wide eyes, and pointed to the newspaper in his hand. The celestial pirates made another move. The snow god severely injured Kizaru and beheaded celestial dragons. A reward of 1.5 billion was offered. Everyone was stunned for a moment. Also yelled in shock and surprise. Hey, what's the matter? Whitebeard twisted gait and walked out of the cabin with a bottle of wine. Marco passed his hand to Whitebeard. Whitebeard took a look, his eyes solemn. Father, this celestial pirate group is too strong, a Thor, and now there is a snow god. Marco pointed to the figure in the black robe on the reward order. I'm afraid there are more than 2 gods. Whitebeard put down the newspaper in his hand, drank heavily, and then continued. Killing celestial dragons is a taboo for the world government. If they are all powerful at this level, don't worry too much about chasing them down. Father, Marco wanted to say something. Whitebeard smiled and said, don't worry about it, Marco. Yes, Daddy, Marco responded with a smile. Dad, but the strongest man at sea, Whitebeard. Hey, Teach, how far is it from Wanokuni? Whitebeard shouted back. Daddy, I don't know. Teach shrugged beside the boat support. You don't recognize the chart. Why are you standing there, Teach? The people around laughed. More people received news from the celestial pirate group. On a ship in a certain sea area, with a straw hat on his head and a red-haired Shanks, his eyes were solemn and moaning. In the desert kingdom, a man named Crocodile bit his cigar and couldn't calm down for a long time. A more remote country. A man covered in a military green cloak showed a meaningful smile after reading the newspaper in his hand. All around the world, shocked, fearful, with emotion, worried, excited to provoke the world government. Various undercurrents are surging. Go back to impel down. The sun is gentle on the ground and the sea breeze is slow. The underground is gloomy and wailing. After Marine increased its strength, Luo Feng went to work every day and had more prisoners to be executed. The first thought that comes up with a torture knife every day is, what reward will it be? In the morning, execution. Bask in the sun. In the afternoon, execution. Bask in the sun. Sleep at night. In this way, Luo Feng is obsessed with clocking in at work. Keep getting rewards to get stronger. The past of Tenten. In a blink of an eye, another few years have passed. The impact of beheading celestial dragons did make the pirates riot, and some fanatics even tried to attack Mariajoy. Under the strong suppression of the world government and Marine, everything seems to be back to normal. However, the beheading of celestial dragons by a pirate left a whole new understanding of all forces. In the second half of the Grand Line, the overlords known as New World are all dormant. In New World, Whitebeard Twistgate, Bigmom, Kaido are called the 3 Sea Emperors by the pirates. There is a red-haired man named Shanks who made his mark in New World, and some people faintly call him the 4 Emperors. The world government is also preparing to establish a new system. 7 warlords of the sea system. Call up 7 great pirates with status, strength, and influence. The world government gave them special rights and qualifications to stop the original wanted order. The world government no longer pursues all crimes committed before. At the same time, they need to fight against the pirates at sea, and must accept the compulsory summoning of the world government and so on. As soon as this announcement came out, it caused an uproar in the whole world. But all this seems very common in Luo Feng's eyes. Go to work to do tasks, and get a good night's sleep after get off work. I am also secretly happy. Cut off a celestial dragons, not only to get a reward boost. It also caused the pirates to contempt the world government. The result is, at the beginning of the period when the event fermented, Marine is very busy. Marine all kinds of catches, pirates all kinds of free delivery. During that period, Luo Feng executed more than 3 prisoners almost a day. Then it gradually disappeared. The strength also grew to a whole new level with the execution. Impel down. The sun today is very warm and calm. Luo Feng sipped a drink from Haniobel and lay on the city wall leisurely. The hot sun had no effect on him, but made the evil spirits on his body dissipate faster. Listening to the sound of the ocean current outside the Gate of Justice, he took a cold drink. Luo Feng said to the system in his mind. Open the system panel. Host. Luo Feng. Weapon. Top execution knife produced by the system. Skills. Marine 6 styles peak 1 sword skill peak god avoiding top Kongyun cut top. Boxing big boxer. Ability. Observation Hockey 220%, Armament Hockey 401%, Conqueror's Hockey 240%. Unawakened Fruit, Lion Fruit, Strong Fruit, Clone Fruit, Barrier Fruit, Stealth Fruit, Rusty Fruit, Light Lion Fruit. Awakening Ability, Snow Fruit, Mara Fruit, Big Buddha Fruit, Thunder Fruit. Physical Fitness, 16,600. System Space, Famous Knife. Sakura 10, Famous Knife. Mew Withered. Luo Fang nodded in satisfaction. The 3 Logia fruits, plus the Big Buddha fruits are all awakened. Originally, it was not only the awakening fruit, but most of the rewarded devil fruit was used to upgrade Hockey. Although the effect of a devil fruit to enhance Hockey is very rare, Luo Fang does not mind. Under the strengthening of the past few years, it has also grown to a new height. With the current strength of Luo Fang, he is completely unafraid of anyone. It's just that Impel Down, a treasure trove, is nowhere more suitable for Luo Fang than here. Every day you go to work you can get rewards, and Luo Fang is still reluctant to leave here. After drinking a cold drink in one breath, Luo Fang stretched. It's really comfortable to dry, and today's evil spirit has almost dissipated. Luo Fang jumped off the city wall. At this time, the door of Impel Down slowly opened. A warship came in. At the bow, Pelusalino, Kizaru Vice Admiral. Mr. Kizaru. Luo Fang walked over and saluted. Luo Fang Rear Admiral. The tall Kizaru saw Luo Fang but did not disembark. Caught a pirate, since I met you, I won't go in, let you bring it in. Kizaru didn't seem to like the hell of Impel Down. Yes, Marine carried a blue murloc with a sawtooth nose and sharp teeth. I am fainting, was beaten half dead. There are also many through wounds on the body. The jailer by his side ran over to take over. Luo Fang was taken aback and took a closer look. This is not a murloc, Arlong. Kizaru thought that Luo Fang was surprised when he saw the murloc, and proactively introduced. Luo Fang Rear Admiral, this is Arlong, the murloc, who slaughtered our marine. I was caught by the old man himself. Luo Fang just remembered now. After the death of Fisher Tiger, this Arlong angrily ran to slaughter marine. The Pirates of the Sun is about to split. Understood, thank you Mr. Kizaru. Luo Fang saluted again. Kizaru smiled and waved his hand. Gone. The warship returned soon. Luo Fang asked the jailer to escort him, and took him to the baptism place before entering prison. Arlong was thrown into the high-temperature water of more than 100 degrees. Woke up with a scream. At this time, Domino, a beautiful blonde woman, came with the jailer, the deputy chief of guard. Your Excellency Luo Fang. Domino seems to be very happy to see Luo Fang. Domino, here you are, Arlong, the prisoner murloc, hand it to you. Luo Fang smiled and said to Domino. Yes, Lord Luo Fang. Domino asked the jailer to prepare to take Arlong, and turned his head to see that Luo Fang had already started to leave. Luo, Domino, don't forget to let the jailer control it well, the murlocs are very powerful. Luo Fang waved his hand and disappeared from the circular corridor. Domino stomped his feet and picked up Arlong, who had passed out and fainted, and walked underground. And Luo Fang returned to the room. This Arlong estimated that he would be executed in 2 days. Slaughter marine, but here will be preferential treatment. He will be tortured and await execution. On the other side, Marineford. Marshal Sengoku was sitting in the office, and an upper correction officer reported in front of him. Marshal Sengoku, the 7 warlords of the sea system recruited for the first time. Alabasta's Baroque studio has agreed to join Shichibukai. The big pirate Bartholomew, Lord Bear agrees to join Shichibukai. Gecko Moria is in contact with the terrifying 3-handed sailing ship. The Pirates of the Sun, Jinbei is in contact. Quote, Marshal Sengoku sat there and nodded. 7 warlords of the sea is a deal between the world government and the pirates. It is also used to balance the power of New World. Fight against pirates with pirates. Marshal Sengoku, Heavenly Yaksha, Don Quixote, Doflamingo, offered to join Shichibukai. Quote. Doflamingo. When Sengoku heard the name, his eyes narrowed slightly. What's wrong, Marshal Sengoku? The colonel was surprised. It's okay, tell them to finish the recruitment mission quickly. Yes. The colonel saluted and went out. Sengoku touched the kid beside him. Dignified thoughts. Chapter 31. 2 days later, the jailer passed the task of executing Arlong to Luo Feng. Luo Feng had anticipated, for what Arlong did, cruel and bloodthirsty. His hands were soaked in the blood of innocent people, and he really deserved to be executed. Skillfully put on a uniform and carried a torture knife, Luo Feng went directly to the 4th floor of blazing hell. Arlong was tortured on this level. 4 floors. Little Sachi is whipping a criminal happily, enjoying the screams. Her little pets stood behind her and watched quietly. Da da da. Luo Feng's army boots stepped on the ground and walked step by step. Little Sachi. Luo Feng Rear Admiral. Little Sachi stopped. The 4 huge jailer beasts behind him also politely looked at Luo Feng. Bring Arlong here. Luo Feng sat down on a stool beside him. Yes. Little Sachi looked at the jailer beast behind him. One of the big cows of the jailer beasts behind him stood, and the mother cow, with a mace in his hand, nodded. Go to a cell. Soon he walked over with Arlong the Murloc. Little Sachi tied Arlong to the execution stake. Luo Feng Rear Admiral, ready. Xiao Saki whispered to Luo Feng. Both Xiao Saki and Emilio are interested in Luo Feng, who is young and handsome and has a high military position. They are mainly execution officers, which are suitable for them. Ahem, well, it's hard work. Luo Feng pretended to cough twice, picked up the execution knife, and walked over. What else do you want to say? Luo Feng talked about the practice of execution. Arlong was tied there weakly and watched Luo Feng walk over. A mocking smile. Humans. Inferior creatures, all deserve to die. Luo Feng was expressionless, he didn't care, and was about to raise his knife. At this time, Warden Magellan walked out of his office with a phone worm in his hand. Luo Feng Rear Admiral, the headquarters just came to order to suspend the execution of Arlong. Luo Feng froze for a moment and said, Why, Warden? I am Vice Admiral of the headquarters. Jinbei, the leader of the Pirates of the Sun, agreed to join Shichibukai. One of the conditions is to release the arrested Arlong. The voice from the phone bug in Magellan's hand. Luo Feng nodded, remembering that Jinbei would save Arlong. So what? The knife in his hand flashed. Arlong was exhausted and was executed. Magellan was taken aback by Luo Feng's sudden execution. Immediately after Luo Feng's execution, there was a special power that shocked Magellan. The phone worm rang again. Hey, hello, what happened? Sorry, the sentence has already been executed, Luo Feng said to the phone worm. Luo Feng Rear Admiral. The phone worm seemed to be choked. Dare to do it after the order is delivered. After a while, the phone worm said again. Rear Admiral, you got into trouble. Shichibukai Jinbei has already met Marshal Sengoku in the headquarters. Come on. The phone worm hangs up. Magellan dare not say a word. With cold sweat on his head, Luo Feng Rear Admiral was too reckless this time. Doesn't listen to orders at all. The warden, like these slaughter cruel humans, or murlocs, I don't want to stop. Luo Feng said something. Magellan nodded softly. They really deserve to die, but now Shichibukai and orders are involved. The phone worm wearing a gas mask on Magellan's hand rang again. Luo Feng Rear Admiral, Marshal Sengoku asked you to come to this department right away. I hung up after speaking. Magellan looked worried. Luo Feng looked at him and smiled, and said, It's okay, Warden Magellan, up to a salary penalty. Hope so. Magellan did nothing. Luo Feng then retired and went to see Marshal Sengoku at the headquarters. Board the impelled-down warship, under the ocean currents of Marine, and soon arrived at Marineford. Marshal's office. Sengoku, Crane, Akainu, Kizaru, Shichibukai Jinbei, and several vice admiral are there. After Luo Feng entered, he saluted and greeted him blankly. Then he looked at the whale shark man, who was fat and had 2 big teeth in his lower jaw. Seaman, Jinbei. Jinbei also looked at Luo Feng. Although there was no hatred in his eyes, he was angry. Luo Feng Rear Admiral, do you know you made a mistake? He Vice Admiral said harshly to Luo Feng. I don't know what mistake I made. Luo Feng replied calmly. What? Sengoku hadn't spoken yet, instead Jinbei patted the table. Jinbei thought that Luo Feng was also a member of Murloc haters, and that killing Murlocs was not a mistake. Don't get excited, Jinbei. Sengoku finally spoke, turned his head to Luo Feng and continued. You are defying the orders of your superiors. Luo Fang shook his head. Marshal Sengoku, a vicious criminal who committed sins. As an execution officer, when I raised the knife to execute my sentence, I was ordered to stop. The reason is because of being protected by Shichibukai. Do you think I can stop? Quote. Jinbei was startled. Sengoku glanced at Jinbei and continued. This is a condition, not to mention, you disobeyed the order. At this time, Sakazuki helped Luo Fang speak. Marshal Sengoku, I think Luo Fang did a good job. Since he is a vicious criminal pirate, then this condition is not enough for Luo Fang to stop. Sakazuki, Love disobeyed the order. Sengoku shifted his focus and said. Jinbei sighed. Arlong did commit too much sin, and he came out to save him because of his past love. Marshal Sengoku, as a marshal, really has to punish a rear admiral, and he doesn't have to say anything to Sakazuki. Marine is still protecting his own people and acting out. Forget it, this may be God's will. Jinbei stood up and walked directly out the door. Farewell. Sengoku watched Jinbei walk out. Sakazuki is very optimistic about Luo Fang. This rear admiral was very appetite for him, so stop any hand, like this kind of pirate, just cut it directly. Luo Fang rear admiral, but you really disobeyed the order and must be punished. Sengoku turned his head to look at Luo Fang. After all, this is a rule and he must be punished. Follow Marshal Sengoku's arrangements, Luo Fang said. Just executed a vicious criminal, what else needs to be punished? Sakazuki helped out again. Sakazuki, this is Marine. Sengoku said loudly. Or, let Major Luo Fang go to Dress Rosa. Kizaru, who hadn't spoken for a long time, suddenly said something like this. What? Sakazuki glared at Kizaru. Marshal Sengoku and Suru groaned. Should you go? Sakazuki. Kizaru saw Akainu glaring at him and said something. Sakazuki snorted and said, I'm not going, if you let me kill him, I'll go. Well, Mr. Sengoku, why are you going to Dress Rosa? Luo Fang saw that they only talked about themselves, and asked Sengoku. Sengoku raised his head to look at Luo Fang, and said with a headache. Go to be crowned. Coronation. Luo Fang asked for it. Reacted. Isn't Dress Rosa the site of Doflamingo? It seems that it is time for Doflamingo to seek Shichibukai's identity. It's okay to execute the Birdman. Luo Fang nodded indifferently. Then I will go, Marshal Sengoku. Sengoku didn't expect Luo Fang to agree without hesitation, and was surprised. It seems that Luo Fang doesn't know why no one wants to go to Dress Rosa. Hearing Luo Fang's answer, the scene calmed down and looked at Luo Fang in surprise. Marshal Sengoku groaned. Since you are willing to go, then I will let you know. Sengoku stood up and looked around, and said solemnly. Luo Fang Rear Admiral is a pirate who has executed many fierce pirates for Marine, and he is also a veteran for many years, so I will just say it straight. After speaking, he looked at Luo Fang. Luo Fang scratched his head and nodded. Marshal Sengoku, just speak up. Marshal Sengoku only then began to say. Don Quixote. Doflamingo is celestial dragons. Although he has withdrawn from the Holy Land Mariajoy, he still has the privileges of celestial dragons. But Luo Fang was just right to be surprised. Marshal Sengoku looked at Luo Fang and continued solemnly. According to the news from the insider, the Don Quixote family led by Doflamingo. It captured the country of Dress Rosa and formed a huge underground trading organization on the sea. Among the many dark transactions, one of them was a man-made devil fruit. Kaido offered a deal to Doflamingo. I plan to use artificial devil fruit to build a stronger beasts pirates. Bigmom, as a pirate of the Kaido Alliance, is also involved. After we received the news, because Doflamingo still has some privileges of celestial dragons, it cannot be directly attacked. Spies were sent to inquire about the news many times, and all of them lost contact without exception. At this time, Doflamingo used the national treasure of the Holy Land Mariajoy to secretly threaten. Join 7 warlords of the sea, and Marine will send someone to complete the coronation in person. The more Marshal Sengoku said, the more solemn his expression became. Luo Fang looked shocked. If you go, it will be dangerous. Would you like to go? All the people present looked at Luo Fang quietly. Luo Fang lowered his head in thought, as if making a decision. But my heart is happy, Kaido is fat. There is also Bigmom. Doflamingo. Go, must go. Marshal Sengoku, I am going on behalf of Marine in an upright manner, not so dangerous. Luo Feng nodded, dignified. Crane, Sakazuki, Kizaru and others all looked at Luo Feng in surprise. Suddenly, no one is willing to take the risk of hard work, but it's still the next step. Kizaru's eyes narrowed slightly, with a different thought in his heart. Will Luo Feng have something to do with the gods? In the two appearances of the celestial pirates, Luo Feng was present. When Luo Feng was out of sight, the black robe man appeared. Since you are willing to go back and get ready first, and the warship will go back to Impel Down to pick you up. Marshal Sengoku nodded. The situation is not right, retreat immediately to save your life. Yes, Marshal Sengoku. Luo Feng saluted and retired, his face was calm, and his heart was already excited. Kaido appeared. Conference room. Sakazuki looked sorry. Kizaru narrowed his eyes and didn't know what he was thinking. Sengoku frowned. Crane Vice Admiral stood up thoughtfully and said, should we secretly send another person to follow Luo Feng Rear Admiral, just in case? Even in the dark, no one might be willing to go. Sengoku rubbed his eyebrows. Gion. The staff member Crane pronounced a name. Are you willing to let her go? Crane. Sengoku was surprised. With Gion's strength, if you go in secret, you can still run away if something is wrong. The Suru staff seemed to believe in Gion's strength. Sengoku thought about it, but didn't immediately agree. I'll leave first. Kizaru stood up, ready to go to the meeting room. Sengoku nodded, then turned his head and said to Suru. Gion went secretly without any problems, and found that Kaido and Bigmom were there, leading Luo Feng and others to retreat immediately. Luo Feng didn't expect that Marine would still be prepared to do something new. After returning, I went to the Impel Down Warden's office. What are you talking about? Luo Feng Rear Admiral. No, you can't go, it's too dangerous. Magellan heard Luo Feng say to go to Dress Rosa, stood up and said loudly, the poisonous gas in his mouth spurted out. Luo Feng calmly covered himself with armed color. Magellan has been grateful since he learned that Luo Feng blocked the Golden Lion and he was not killed. For many years, the two have had a good personal relationship. This will be very exciting. I am going there myself, Magellan. Luo Feng reluctantly flashed the poisonous mist in front of him. I want to tell the marshal. Magellan picked up the phone worm on the table and called out. Unfortunately, the headquarters has already issued an order, which is also voluntary by Luo Feng. The warship heading to Dressaros has set off Impel Down. Magellan had no choice but to put down the phone worm. Luo Feng, what's wrong? Leave immediately, save your life first. Magellan kept persuading. I see, the warden, this time I went here in an open manner, and I may not dare to do anything to me. Luo Feng said indifferently. No, you don't know what Doflamingo did at sea. He really dares to play black hands. You must be careful. Magellan said solemnly. Luo Feng nodded and got up to say goodbye. Well, the warship is coming right away, I'm leaving first. Without returning to the room, Luo Feng put his execution knife on his head and went straight to the port. Marines' warships also came over. Luo Feng boarded the warship, and the Marines on board saluted. There were a lot of people on the ship, including a world government official in black. Another one surprised Luo Feng. Wearing a captain's uniform, Momoshiki Gion, with a communication watch on his hand, seems to be a communication soldier. The obvious spider tattoo, and the beauty mole on the right, can be seen at a glance. However, Gion has not yet become a candidate for admiral, nor does it have a codename for Momoshiki. At Gion's salute, Luo Feng nodded and did not speak, but he thought to himself. Even if it is not an admiral alternate, the Gion of this meeting is at least rear admiral, and it seems that the Crane staff arranged to come in. Luo Feng turned his head slightly and looked at the door of the cabin. There is a major who looks at Luo Feng secretly from time to time. Under Luo Feng's strong sense of sight, hearing and color, he found that the major seemed to be monitoring him. The major didn't expect Luo Feng to look back at him and was shocked. Luo Feng's eyes were full of power. The major wiped his head. He was sent on board by Kizaru Vice Admiral to observe Luo Fang's eyeliner secretly. Luo Feng smiled and walked straight to the cabin. The warship set off. New World, Darasaros, Royal Palace. Doflamingo is standing in the upper garden of the palace. The cadres stood quietly behind him. With a runny nose, he dragged Libal all over with a slimy body. The tall Pika with huge arms. Diamante wearing a red cloak. Fat Aunt Yora, Rao Ji in tights. Buffalo, Baby 5 and so on. Trafalgar, Luo and Rocinante are not there. They looked at the shore of Darasalis, seemingly waiting. At this time, the Doflamingo phone worm rang. Hey, this is Joker. Master, Marine has sent someone to crown you 7 warlords of the sea. A man's voice came from the phone worm. Really? Giggle ha ha. Doflamingo smiled triumphantly. But, Master, it was an impel-down execution officer, Luo Feng Rear Admiral. Doflamingo's laughter stopped abruptly. Execution officer. Still an unknown Rear Admiral. Doflamingo's head burst with blue veins, and then smiled again. Marine sent an execution officer Rear Admiral, did you mean to execute me? Hang up the phone worm. Doflamingo turned his head and said to the family cadres behind. Hey, everyone heard that, Marine Rear Admiral will get rid of him when he comes. Yes, Master, let me do it. The tall and mighty Pika made a childlike voice. Hey, Pika, it's me, G. Rao Ji in the tights scrambled. No, you guys go together. Cruel torture, Marine turned out to be. Doflamingo said in a low voice. Master, look, they're here. Torapal, standing on the side, suddenly pointed at the port. 2 ships coming from there. The pirate flag was flying above it. The Queen chant of Bigmom. And Kaido's new pirate ship. The Emperor of the Sea is here, hehehehe, go and welcome them to the palace. Doflamingo turned and walked into the palace. In a huge banquet hall. A large round table was placed there, filled with various foods. Only 3 golden and red cushioned chairs were placed there. Doflamingo sat on one of the chairs, crossed his hands, and looked at the entrance of the hall. The cadres stood behind, sweating a little on their heads. Those who are going to come in shortly are the 2 who are vaguely known as the New World Sea Kings. Bigmom. Beast Kaido. There was a sound of footsteps outside the door, getting closer and closer. Doflamingo's crossed hands also dropped, and his expression was still. The door opens. Kaido with long black hair is huge and stout, wearing a mace. Next to him is the same huge, fat, and jeweled Aunt Bigmom. The 2 came in side by side with a strong aura. Behind Jack the Drow, Katakuri and other cadres of the 2 pirate groups. The family cadres behind Doflamingo couldn't help swallowing. These are 2 of them who are known as the Sea Kings. The momentum when you walk in is oppressive. Hey, Joker. When the 2 saw Doflamingo, they smiled face to face and sat down separately. Welcome to the 2 Sea Kings. Mr. Kaido, Big Mom. Doflamingo stood up and directed his men. A group of chefs outside the door, pushing a huge cake, and a large barrel of wine came in. Mr. Kaido, taste this West Blue wine. This is a delicious cake for ladies who love cakes. Please enjoy. There will be various desserts later. Several chefs said politely. Kaido picked up the wine, looked at Doflamingo, and laughed. Bigmom laughed too. Joker, I'm interested. Bigmom picked up the big cake and stuffed it into his mouth, enjoying his eyes. Kaido also opened the barrel and drank wildly. The 2 are here, you must be considerate, Diamante, and take everyone to have fun. Doflamingo commanded his hand. Yes, Master. Diamante in the red cloak politely took the cadres of the 2 parties out. There were only 3 people left in the hall. Doflamingo chuckled and ate as well. Joker, artificial devil fruit, can it be used? Kaido stopped, looked at it diagonally and said. Yes, the first batch can be traded in a few days. Doflamingo sat down in a chair. I've been waiting for a long time, Joker. Kaido continued to raise his head and drank the wine. Yes, I won't let you down. The 2 adults played in Dress Rosa for 2 days. A few days later, it will be the coronation ceremony for me to join 7 warlords of the sea. Quote. Doflamingo stood up and said with a signature smile. Oh, Joker, you also joined Shichibukai. Kaido was a little surprised. Future transactions need this layer of identity to cover up. Doflamingo explained, then sat down and pondered for a moment. What do the two adults think about Whitebeard and that redhead? Bigmom has been eating dessert. This will hear Doflamingo mention Whitebeard and red hair before he looks up and says, Joker, Whitebeard is not so easy to deal with. I want to get rid of the red hair that is coming out first. Kaido said incredibly. Bigmom didn't speak, but smiled gloomily. Using artificial devil fruit to form a powerful army of fruit ability, plus 2 powerful strengths. Can the mere red hair block it? Doflamingo showed his cruel smile. Talking about the transaction, it became the one to kill the Sea King. That red hair can't be dealt with casually, something needs to be prepared. Bigmom squinted. Get the weakest red hair out first. If you want to kill Whitebeard, you need a certain chance. Kaido hiccups, he is still very afraid of Whitebeard. One is called the strongest creature, and one is called the strongest man. And the 3 of them with Bigmom once stayed in Rock's Pirate. Joker, you need to speed up the production of your goods, but this amount is not enough for both of us to use. Bigmom was content to eat and leaned back on the chair and said lightly. Of course, this country is now under my control. A huge factory has been built underground, and the first batch of production will be produced in a few days. Doflamingo said triumphantly. As expected of Joker, hip hop ha ha. Bigmom laughed. He, you two will eat and drink well. In 2 days, Marine will come over and crown me 7 warlords of the sea. Quote. Joker, it's not easy, it is rumored that you are celestial dragons. Previously, the 3 people were talking on the round table. And Luo Fang's warship is also coming to Dress Rosa. On the Blue Sea, Marine warship sails on the surface of the sea. On the observation deck on the white canvas, Luo Fang is waiting there leisurely basking in the sun. The Marine soldiers below are busy. Luo Fang Rear Admiral, the headquarter is calling with you. Momoshiki Gion disguised as a signal soldier, beckoning below. Okay. Luo Fang stood up, jumped down, and landed firmly beside Gion. Rear Admiral, that's amazing. Gion covered her mouth exaggeratedly, as if she jumped down from a high place and landed steadily. Luo Fang glanced at her and was speechless. Hey, Momoshiki, your acting is too fake. Ahem, where's the phone? Yes, here. Gion passed the phone bug in his hand. Hey, this is Luo Fang. Luo Fang Rear Admiral, the latest news. Both Kaido and Bigmom have disappeared in their own territory for a few days. The ministry recommends that in the waters near Dressrosa, return immediately if any traces are found. Luo Fang was taken aback after hearing this, and said. Meaning that Kaido and Bigmom might go to Heavenly Yaksha. Yes, Luo Fang Rear Admiral, be more careful. Okay, thanks. Come on. The phone worm hangs up. Luo Fang yawned, then turned around and wanted to climb up again. Luo Fang Rear Admiral, what if there are 4 emperors with us? Gion asked suddenly. What to do? Run. Luo Fang doesn't care. I really saw you running, and I went back to behead them again. By the way, you are a communications soldier, what is your name? Yes, my name is Gion. Gion's salute is true. Gion, a good name, a good name. Luo Fang gave a thumbs up, and then pointed to the major who spied on the cabin from time to time. Do you know that guy? Major, I don't know what it is called. We are all temporarily transferred from various departments on board, and we are not familiar with each other. Gion replied. Well, Gion, I have no subordinates yet, do you want to come to the execution department? Luo Fang said with a playful smile. Ah, this. Gion didn't expect Luo Fang to invite her directly. Are you kidding me? I'm Vice Admiral. Is it inconvenient? Don't worry, think about it. Luo Fang smiled secretly. In fact, it's just teasing her. Gion's identity has already been known to him. The boring sailing didn't even show up a pirate, seeing that the warship was running far away long ago. Yes, I think about it, Gion said bitterly. After the mission is over, you will show him the Vice Admiral identity, and see how surprised you are. Luo Fang nodded and continued. How far is it from Darasaros? About 2 days, Gion replied. Luo Fang didn't speak, and jumped on the observation deck again, looking into the distance. 2 days of warship sailing, after tonight, I will go to Dress Rosa in advance. Hope Kaido and Bigmom are there. It will be a feast of execution. Luo Feng was looking forward to. Soon one night passed. Dress Rosa. Doflamingo entertains Kaido and Bigmom well. I specially found a group of chefs who make desserts, as well as a variety of fine wines from all over the world. These 2 days have made Bigmom and Kaido very happy. Tenten, the cadres of the Don Quixote family, took the 4 emperors to eat, drink and play, and got acquainted a lot. Today, Doflamingo held the first time since taking office as a king. Dressrosa's grand show, the bullfighting arena. Kaido and Bigmom were also invited to watch the game together. All cadres under the banner can participate. The prize is devil fruit. Logia, snow fruit. Arena, in Doflamingo's exclusive viewing room. Bigmom laughed and said, "Joker, you are really generous. The fruits of Logia are placed in the arena to compete." Kaido was also surprised and said, "Aren't you afraid of being snatched away by our subordinates?" Joker. Doflamingo sat in the chair and said indifferently, "No, I don't regret it at all, not to mention that we are now business partners and maritime alliances." Kaido and Bigmom looked at each other and laughed. "This Joker is very interesting. Katakuri, you go try it." Bigmom first said one after another. "There is a powerful devil fruit sent up, why not?" "Yes, mother." Katakuri Yingdao standing behind. "Jack, you go too." Kaido also ordered. "Yes, Lord Kaido." Jack the Drow, who was wearing a protective jaw, also responded. "They are all 2 capable deputy captains. Then I have to send 2 at least." Doflamingo smiled and pointed to Diamante, Pika. "Yes, young master." The arena was filled with the kingdom's dignitaries, rich businessmen, and some civilians and toy people. I heard that King Doflamingo invited 2 big pirates to watch the battle inside. Yes, it is said that the king is also a pirate. However, after taking office recently, the people are doing very well, but there are still many voices of opposition from the people. The battle has not yet started, and there is already a lot of discussion in the audience. Welcome to everyone. The commentator wore an arena costume and walked to the middle of the stage with a loudspeaker worm. His Majesty King Doflamingo hosted the first bullfighting competition. I must have already waited for it. Yes, let's start fighting. The audience shouted loudly. The atmosphere immediately began to heat up. In addition to the 42 fighters who participated in the competition, 4 new fighters have been added. They are Mr. Katakuri from the Bigmom pirate group, one of the 4 emperors. From one of the 4 emperors, Beasts Pirates, Mr. Jack. There are also His Majesty the King, the Don Quixote family, Diamante and Lord Pika. Quote. The commentator spoke solemnly and enthusiastically below. The audience shouted. The first prize is given by His Majesty the King, Devil Fruit, the strongest Logia. The audience on the stage was stunned to hear Logia. Snow fruit. Wow! A burst of cheers. Some audience members have stood up and shouted loudly. Don't talk nonsense. The fighters enter the arena in 4 batches, and the battle begins. Return to the commentary table immediately after the commentary. Here we go. Kaido, Bigmom, Doflamingo all watched. This battle is the battle of their 3 subordinates. The 4 are divided into 4 groups. Almost soon the next 4 men came to a decisive victory. Then there was a 4-person fight on the court. Katakuri vs Jack vs Pika, Diamante. The audience in the auditorium was already dumbfounded. The 4 men and the rest of the fighters are not at the same level at all. Especially the Katakuri, during the group fight, did not move, and the rest of them all fell down. The inexplicable audience still explained it above. It was Hockey's ability to understand it. Finals. Katakuri Nuo fruit is launched, powerful and unparalleled. The top-notch color made him ignore Diamante's attack at all. Pika's Jack on the other side. When Pika used his abilities to become a giant stone man, the incarnation giant elephant fought together. After getting acquainted with each other for these 2 days, they just played against each other like a discussion. But it also made the audience shout, excited, and enthusiastic. None of them have seen this level of battle. Doflamingo watched the battle below. Said to the little child who was carrying a basket of blue balls of sugar. Go ahead and throw that Cyrus in too. Yes, young master. Little Sugar bounced away. Cyrus, Bigmom asked while eating sweets. It's a legendary fighter with 3,000 victories in this arena, adding some atmosphere. Doflamingo smiled. Fighting back and forth in the arena, Jack the Colossus vs. Pika the Giant Stoneman. Kata Cooley against the Bannerman Diamante. At this time, a man with a broken leg came into the arena again, holding a huge sword in his hand. Cyrus. Granule told him that he won the next match and let Liku King. Cyrus appeared, and the audience was crazy again. The commentator shouted, "It's Cyrus, the legendary fighter. The existence of 3,000 consecutive victories. He actually lost a leg." The scene was full of screams. As soon as Cyrus came up, he jumped with one leg and attacked with his sword. Facing Diamante, Kata Curry looked indifferently, but stepped aside. Cyrus vs Diamante. The sword and sword brought violent power to Diamante. The red cloak flew up and turned into steel to block it. The viewing platform in the room on the field. It's boring, Joker, this guy is not strong enough. Kaido is a bit boring. Then fight hard, hey, Kata Curry, end the fight. The BIGMOM sound wave was very loud and reached the court. Even the audience was stunned. Kata Curry nodded, the fruit ability was activated. The body changes rice cakes and turns into two big punches, covered with armed colors. Rushed up instantly. Before Diamante and Cyrus could react, the powerful fists were already in front of them. Cyrus was directly beaten back and lay on the ground. Diamante reluctantly blocked Kata Curry's fist with his cloak. Are you serious, Katakuri? Diamante smiled, and the sword in his hand rolled into a bull's head and attacked. Kata Curry's black fist was in one gear, and the other fist instantly attacked the steel cloak. Boom! Diamante fell to the ground. Kata Curry's attack has not stopped. Angular rice cake. Kata Curry's hand changed into a strip of rice cake, covered in armed color, and quickly hit the steel cloak. Diamante, who could only lie on the ground to defend, quickly surrendered. It deserves to be the 3-star of BIGMOM. Diamante, lose. Cyrus got up long ago and watched Katakuri attack. My heart was filled with despair, and I threw him in just to enliven the atmosphere of the audience. Grit your teeth, lift the big sword and slash towards Kata Curry. But no matter how hard it is, Kata Curry's knowledge is too strong. The giant elephant Jack fought with Pika the giant stone man, and the stone man shattered with a flick of the elephant's trunk. Being limited in the arena, Pika could not exert his true strength, so he could only consume it like this. Doflamingo doesn't care about the ownership of snow fruit. All this is just for fun. Kaido and BIGMOM made suspicious voices at the same time. In the fierce battle, a black-robed man suddenly appeared. How is it the same as the Celestial Pirates group that hasn't appeared for many years? Kaido's eyes throbbed. Black-robed man. It was the clone who replaced Luo Fang, who came over first in a black robe on the warship. It will take at least half a day for the warship to reach it. Enough. Luo Fang executed them all first. The audience in the auditorium was shocked, thinking that it was a newly added fighter. They all shouted and cheered. The Kata Curry trio obviously found something wrong. This black-robed man, the aura exuding from his body is very strong. Who are you? The three looked at Luo Fang in the black robe. Luo Fang ignored them, but instead looked at the snow fruit beside the commentary. He had acquired the ability of snow fruit long ago. I asked in my mind. System, can I eat this genuine one? You can eat, snow fruit has evolved. The system replied. Evolution. Yes, only after evolution can we know what effect the evolution will produce. Luo Fang nodded, ignoring the Kata Curry and others around him, and he arrived at the stage in an instant. Picked up the snow fruit and put it into the system space. Asshole, who are you? Doflamingo walked out and just happened to see this scene. This person actually robbed snow fruit. Doflamingo shot out in a rage, and cut the wireless line in his hand. Luo Fang usually turned around. Doflamingo's attack failed and hit the audience. The arena was cut with a big crack. Doflamingo shot with full anger. After a few seconds, the audience screamed and dispersed. Luo Fang retreated slightly and retreated into the arena. Doflamingo followed. Kata Cooley, Diamante, the huge elephant Jack, and the stone man Pika surrounded Luo Fang. Because Luo Feng suddenly appeared in a startled commentary, he didn't forget to shout with the microphone, the audience quickly retreat. Some spectators who did not react have fled. Without seeing Ming's blow, the auditorium was divided into 4 pieces and collapsed. Only some of the bold ones remained in place, including a bird. Morse Root of the albatross fruit, president of the World News Agency. Who are you? Doflamingo's head burst into blue veins, and the show was ruined. You might as well call the 2 above out first. Conquerors escaped in Luo Feng's eyes, staring at Bigmom and Kaido inside. He opened his mouth and said, Kaido, I finally found you. Kaido was taken aback. What a familiar line. God, the Celestial Pirate Group. Kaido and Bigmom finally walked out with the cadres of the 3 parties, and the civilians in the arena dispersed. The subordinates also surrounded him more and more. Tianjin Pirate Group, Vulcan. Haipao Luo Feng gently revealed his name. It hasn't done it yet, just because the ordinary people haven't evacuated yet. Avoid hurting the innocent. Plain name, Vulcan. However, Kaido, Bigmom and others were shocked, their expressions solemn. The 4 people surrounding Luo Feng stepped back unconsciously. Although the Celestial Pirates only made 2 shots, each of them was a record that shocked the world. Even Kaido, who was present, was a defeat to Thor's men. Kaido's face was gloomy and his eyes throbbed. Doflamingo asked lowly, what is the Celestial Pirate Group doing? Execute, you sinners. Luo Feng replied in a husky voice. Kaido, Bigmom, his face changed drastically. The ant is also the first time to face the pirate group of the gods. Hearing Luo Feng's words, everyone was startled, but Bigmom laughed. It's so arrogant, you know there are 2 imperial pirate groups here. The look in his eyes revealed a harshness, and he said in a condensed voice. Vulcan of the Celestial Pirate Group. Our lineup, can you block it? Kaido, Bigmom, Doflamingo, 3 general stars, Jack's new 3 plagues. More than 30 cadres in the 3 great pirates group. Thousands surrounded from outside the field. Luo Feng ignored Bigmom's words. The arena is already surrounded by crowds. Withstand, I'm here to execute you. How many people are there in the Celestial Pirate Group? Is it you, the captain? Doflamingo then asked arrogantly. With all the staff, Doflamingo also wanted to inquire about the situation of the Celestial Pirates. You are not qualified to know, Joker. Luo Feng said hoarsely. The veins on Doflamingo's head are violent, and the power in his hands is activated. Not qualified. This Vulcan looked down upon him. Birdcage. The line spread out in the sky, enclosing the entire island, like a birdcage. Even the Celestial Pirates were trapped in birdcage today, besieged by us and died. Doflamingo laughed fiercely. Then you come, don't leave, Vulcan. Or, answer my question. Kaido did not feel the breath of death at the time. Coupled with becoming stronger over the years, his face was solemn, and the anger in his heart against Thor began to rise. Black Robe Luo Feng began to emit heat waves, and said in a hoarse voice. You want to know that, I can tell you that Thor, Snow God, and I are just cadres. Everyone was taken aback. Kaido, Bogmom, Katakuli, 3 plagues and others all had cold sweats on their heads. Seems to have heard something incredible, the Celestial Pirates only shot cadres. Why have you never appeared before, and suddenly came out? Shouldn't there be no news at all for strong people like you? Doflamingo looked incredulous, and continued to ask sullenly. Not everyone is like you, Joker, and the only strong one is our captain. Luo Feng said lightly. Captain. Kaido and others lost their voices. There is a stronger captain. How could there be such a strong man in this world? Impossible. The crowd was shocked, and this was also the first time that the Heavenly God Pirates had revealed some news. Okay, you are not qualified to know anything. Luo Feng opened his hands in the black robe. After that, the heat wave on his body turned into a flame wave and dissipated. The momentum is improving. It's time to do it. Everyone swallowed their throats. Kill him. Bogmom clenched his fist and said coldly. Only 1 Vulcan was present, and there were 3 large pirate groups besieging here. Continue to ask if you are defeated. The cadres and those off the court rushed up. The weapons in his hand, and some cadres have launched a capable attack. Will it be useful if there are more people? Black robe Luo Fang's body rose with flames, and suddenly, red ripples rippled away instantly. Conqueror's Haki. The powerful coercion was instantly suppressed on the audience. Some of the weaker cadres, including all the fainting moments. Like a storm, the surrounding auditoriums are cracked. The rubble is rolling. Kaido, Bigmom, Doflamingo, Katakuri's Conqueror's Haki radiated to resist. But he couldn't resist it instantly, and was suppressed and disappeared. Only Kaido and the ant exuded the purple Conqueror's Haki, insisting on resisting. What kind of monster is this? His Conqueror's Haki is stronger than the red-haired Shanks, I don't know how much. Bigmom exclaimed in surprise. Katakuri and others are trembling even more. Except for some cadres, all the hands are down. Thousands of people instantly lay on the ground, turning over Byakugan unconscious. A group of cadres who were not in a coma were stunned. Superior, Doflamingo shouted, can't stop, we must besiege. The cadres who had not been stunned by conquerors woke up and used their abilities to attack. The hot fruit braved the fist of flames. The demon who rose from the transpiration fruit slashed with a big knife. Butterfruit secretes a large amount of cream and wraps it. Become a gorilla, behave as a tiger, behave as a snake, and other zone-capable people have followed suit. A group of cadres performed their stunts, and the entire arena turned into a sea of abilities, attacking with a majestic momentum. Emperor Yan. Facing the impact of dozens of cadres, Luo Feng began to explode with the hoarse voice understatement. There is no need to condense the flames, the giant great fireball is formed directly above the head. The ability to awaken, explode. Yandi giant ball wrapped these cadres in, exploded and burned. The sea of abilities was instantly dried, and his figure stopped in place. Kado Joker, the three of Kado Joker, the three generals, the new three plagues, Pika and the others retreated from the Yandi area, their eyes widened and their faces were covered with cold sweat. What kind of power is this? A huge fireball appeared in an instant, bursting out. Boom! A sea of flames was tumbling in the field. Some bold people ran away watching from a distance, and only the Albatross president took a quick photo with the camera bug. It's amazing. Is this the god of the celestial pirates? The power of the two sea emperors. With heavenly Yaksha Doflamingo, what a lineup this is. The look in his eyes was shocked, and his hands were not slow to take pictures. Kaido and others looked at the cadres in the field, one by one like Kurozumi. The stopped figure kept its original movement charred. With one move, even the cadres were wiped out in an instant. Katakuri's eyes were full of anger, and his younger siblings were dying and dying. Although he was afraid of the power of Vulcan, he still roared, and his heart was extremely angry. The ability to activate formed two huge rice cake hands. The armed color was covered in black, with Conqueror's lightning. Two fists came round. Facing the black giant fist, Luo Feng remained unmoved. With flames rising in his hands, the black and red armed color covered it, and punched it. Fire punch. A huge flame fist rushed past. The black Haki of Katakuri broke through in an instant, and the rice cake was burnt and solidified and shattered. The flamed fist appeared on his chest in an instant. Moment. Fear and panic appeared in Katakuri's eyes. This punch, can't take it. Boom. Katakuri has a hollow chest and flames. He flew straight out. The walls of the arena burst and collapsed, crashing into a house farther away, bringing up a large amount of dust. I don't know life or death. What? Bigmom's eyes are all protruding, no one knows Katakuri's strength better than her. Lost in one punch. Come on. Kaido's eyes were blood red and purple light flickered, and he shouted at Jack. The eyes of the new three plagues trembled, watching Katakuri get knocked into the air with a punch. Frightened by the strength of Luo Feng, the god of fire, but Kaido ordered that he had to go. I can only roar, my body shape changes, the fruit power is activated. Attacked back and forth, mammoth, Tyrannosaurus, spiked pterodactyl. The Tyrannosaurus Rex with a mouthful of blood took a bite, and the bloody breath in his mouth was disgusting. Luo Feng fired a punch directly into its mouth. Boom. The flame pierced through the head of the Tyrannosaurus. He couldn't even make a sound. The Tyrannosaurus Rex directly transformed into a human form, with a big hole of black smoke on his head. The spiked pterodactyl was already flying down from the air when Luo Feng punched it. Haki covers the big spikes on his head. The black light was bright and directed towards Luo Feng. Luo Fang's armed color coverage still punches. The spike broke and hit the head with a punch. Boom. Fall directly to the ground and die. Mammoth Jack was at the end. Seeing the other two deaths, the horror in his eyes had not yet appeared. His heart flared, and the armed color covered his whole body, and the elephant's trunk fluttered over with a strong wind. Luo Fang turned around and jumped up. The flame rises at the feet. Kicked directly on the elephant's face, the flames burned, and Jack's armed color was directly burned. The Mammoth Jack was kicked into the air like a kite. The wall of the arena on the other side of the collision collapsed, and Jack flew out, hitting and flying far away. The huge mammoth figure caused the distant houses to collapse. And these two punches and kicks happened in just a few seconds. The new three plagues, the death of the dead, the life and death who do not know the life and death. Cracker and Smokey looked at Bigmom in fear. They were afraid. What kind of monster is this? Brother Kata Curry, 3 plagues, 1 person. Can't hold back. Come on. Doflamingo grinned and concealed his fear, gritted his teeth and rushed up into the air. Kaido and Bigmom have not yet taken action, there is still a chance. Bigmom's eyes saw the two of Cracker, full of hideousness. In fear, the two gritted their teeth and followed along. Doflamingo pulled out the 5 color strings with both hands, and swiped across to Luo Fang. Haipao Luo Fang ignored it, and such an attack could not break the armed defense. Raising his leg in the air and kicking, the flame burst out. So fast. Doflamingo watched the flame kicking rapidly, his pupils dilated. Desperately covered with white lines in front of you. Boom. The white line instantly turned to ashes, hit the shoulder, and burned a piece. The whole person also flew up into the sky. Master. Pika made a sharp voice, his eyes flushed. The fruit ability is activated, turning the castle into a body. A huge body stepped on it. Luo Fang looked up and turned into a flame and instantly reached the huge stone man. Haki wrapped his hands, grabbed the stone man with flames, and the gravel broke. He reached in and grabbed Pika. At this time, Cracker made a large number of biscuit people rushed up. Smoky Haki wrapped around the sword and pierced it with a sword. Just take advantage of it now. Their movements appear to be very slow in Luo Fang's eyes. This is the gap in strength. Raising the other hand, the flame instantly lit up. A giant great fireball appeared, heading for Cracker and Smokey. Cracker and Smokey tried to stop them. The biscuit warrior turned to ashes, and the oncoming heat wave made the two of them desperate. Can't avoid it. The fireball envelops the two. Only 2 frozen figures were left. At the same time, the flames of Luo Fang's whole body soared, and the entire stone giant turned into flames and burned. Pika didn't even scream, and the huge stone body burned directly into molten slurry, flowing on the ground. Pika, Cracker, Smokey, execution. News agency President Albatross Bird has long been far away from the battlefield, and Birdcage is watching from a distance. Very shocked. It's terrible. The arena for hundreds of years has been turned into ruins, flames are everywhere, and stones are turned into lava flowing everywhere. Kaido, Bigmom glanced at each other, eyes throbbing. This is Vulcan, but at this moment can't stand back. The two forces erupted, and the wind blew everywhere. Purple thunder and lightning rolled in the sky. Napoleon. The hat on Big Mom's head changed into a knife. There appeared a group of thundercloud Zeus, and the sun Prometheus. Go all out. Kaido had already rushed over the lava with red light in his eyes. Luo Fang's black robe was covered with his arms, and the flames all over his body skyrocketed. Kaido, you have run twice. Kaido's veins flared up, his mace was in his hand, and he swung a stick with all his strength. With purple lightning, the cover of Conqueror's armed color even caused strong wind pressure to blow around, and a sonic boom sounded. Thunder, 8 trigrams. Luo Fang's red and black haki covers his hands, with flames entwined. The fist met the mace. The punches hit each other, and Kaido's haki was suppressed before he exploded. Boom. The mace shattered again, and his fist rushed towards Kaido with flames. Kaido twisted his body in horrified eyes, and the flame fist hit the left lower rib. Click. The sound of broken bones. The flame ignited on Kaido. Kaido was hit and flew backwards, his body burning with pain. He barely stabilized his figure and used haki to eliminate the flame, and it became black. What power is this? Kaido is extremely confident and has a complicated expression. The rib was broken with a punch, and the skin was burned. Go to hell. A roar. Bigmom's attack came. The huge pillar of fire, like the thunder coming from the dark clouds in the sky, destroyed the sky and the earth, and instantly attacked Luo Feng. The ground of the arena has been completely destroyed. Weo. One trick after another. Bigmom slashed with a big knife. Luo Feng didn't care about the thunder and flames. Under the awakening thunder, Mara fruit, there is no need to look at such damage. Bigmom's imposing move took Haki down. Luo Feng was armed with one hand to block it, and the ant pressed it down in the air, and it stood in a stalemate for 2 seconds. Luo Feng increased his strength and threw a punch. Bigmom was flipped out instantly. In one punch, he rushed towards Bigmom with the giant flame of the fire fist. In a hurry, Nigmom was covered in armed color, and Napoleon's sword stood in front of him. Boom. Flying upside down, he can stop his figure. Barely blocked. Kaido, how could it be that this guy is stronger than Captain Rocks? This is just a cadre. Big Mom felt the horror of the celestial pirates for the first time. Her strange power was blocked with one hand. A Vulcan is stronger than her former head. He broke my ribs with one punch. At this time, Kaido's body quickly recovered, with purple light bursting in his eyes. A dragon chant has become the strongest form again, Qinglong. The huge body hovered in the sky. Purple lightning surrounds. Fight to the end. After Bigmom heard it, his eyes throbbed, and his armed colors covered crazily. Infuse soul into the entire arena. The earth seemed to come alive, and Big Mom's Haki turned black. Overwhelmingly pressed to Luo Feng. The Kaido in the form of a blue dragon rolls with heat in the air, and purple lightning condenses, gushing away to Luo Feng in an instant. Attack on the left and right. Luo Feng did not evade. After taking it in his hand, the execution knife appeared in his hand. The flame and Haki were intertwined in the blade. He lifted it up and slashed at the covered earth. The huge knife flame burned across everything in front of it, and then burned out. The heat has arrived in front of you in a flash. Flame erupts. The same huge pillar of fire came up. The heat of Kaido was continuously burned by stronger flames, and the pillar of fire went straight to the dragon's head. Bang! The dragon Kaido shook his head desperately, and the flame hit his head and wrapped it continuously. With a dragon chant, Haki finally offset the flame with the fruit ability. The dragon's head opened his eyes. That is the knife. Kaido was full of horror. Kaido. Luo Feng carried the execution knife and flew towards Kaido. I won't let you run away this time. At this time, the Big Mom knife struck again behind him. With a powerful Haki, Napoleon slashed quickly. The powerful momentum brought by Big Mom cracked the surrounding ground. With this blow, make an all-out effort. Luo Feng cut off with his backhand, and the execution knife collided with Big Mom's broad knife. Haki crosswise. In an instant, Napoleon's sword was thrown away, and Big Mom flew out, hit the ground, and smashed a big hole. Get up quickly. Fat hands crack open, blood is flowing. Big Mom's eyes were horrified. What kind of power was this? The Kaido dragon let out a loud roar, suppressing the fear in his heart with fury. Accompanied by the huge roar, the overwhelming wind blade thunder and lightning flew towards Luo Feng. Luo Feng flames rose, wind blade thunder and lightning all burned. The awakening flame power, burn everything. Everything. Bigmom yelled madly. At this time Doflamingo, Katakuri and some others have stood up. Suppress the fear in my heart and bite the bullet. Follow Big Mom to Luo Feng to attack. It's really annoying, Big Mom. Luo Feng attacked the people from below. Cut it down with a knife. The powerful conquerors and the blade covered with armed color cut out a huge red and black blade. The flame is spinning and winding in it. It's like God's punishment is coming. The pupils of Bigmom and the people below are dilated. Weo. 5 color strings. ... Various moves are used. The sword light of the nations is the strongest and most terrifying. But in front of Luo Feng's giant flame sword, he was like a child. The purple majestic sword light shattered in an instant. The others did not even resist the aftermath of the flames. They were repelled one after another, dodged the flame sword energy in embarrassment. Daoguang went straight to Big Mom. Napoleon's broadsword once again tried to resist. As a result, he was cut off and flew, leaving a gap. The flame knife light keeps on. Big Mom tried his best to dodge in the horrified eyes. It hit the shoulder. A stab wound from a shoulder to the collarbone, almost to the neck, appeared on Bigmom's body. Blood is flying. Everyone was dumbfounded. A chill came up completely in my heart. What kind of strength is this? This is Bigmom, one of the 4 emperors. And the existence of the Sea King standing in New World among the many pirates was actually severely wounded. What siege? Fight to the end. Below, Doflamingo and others looked terrified. Luo Feng didn't make a shot at the bottom again, and cut off at the Kaido dragon again. I've ran twice, and Kaido must not be let go this time. Kaido couldn't dodge, and a huge wound appeared on the dragon's body. The eyes on the huge head are already full of horror. The chill of death filled his body. Run, must run. The dragon body rolled and flew away, trying to break through the birdcage. I still want to run, Luo Feng said in a hoarse voice. But he was not slow in his hands, and he chased him up in an instant, with one knife after another. The execution knife struck Kaido's body again and again. Kaido is incarnate as a dragon with bruises and flames, hovering and flying back from the other side. The expressions of Doflamingo and others below are extremely shocking. Kaido, the strongest creature, was cut all over his body and ran away in panic. This is God. The will to fight in his heart completely retreated, leaving only fear. Luo Feng saw his attempt and wanted to use other people to block it. Raising the execution knife, a powerful knife light with flames directly slashed him to the ground. The Kaido dragon's face is full of fear. There was hopelessness in his eyes. Luo Feng stepped behind the faucet. The execution knife was held high. Do you have anything else to say? Kaido wanted to beg for mercy. His heart was filled with fear. The red and black knife light flashed. Kaido, known as the strongest creature, beheaded completely in the state of a dragon. Luo Feng smiled. The system has prompted the execution information. I thought you really wanted to commit suicide, but it turned out to be a joke. The dragon body dissipated, and Kaido appeared. Bigmom sat on the ground clutching the wound, trembling all over. Tremble with fear. Unbelievable. She and Kaido from Rock's pirate to the current pirate alliance. The strength of each other couldn't be more clear. Kaido, known as the strongest creature, was beheaded and died. Invincible. A coldness rose. Bigmom now had his liver and gallbladder cracked, looking at the figure in the black robe. It was as scared as seeing Shinigami. This Vulcan has reached the level of a super monster like Rock's. Rock's back then was also a horror figure that could only be confronted with Garp and Roger. A cadre of the celestial pirate group has reached this level, and there is also the snow god, Thor. Doflamingo woke up in a crowd, still standing, watching dumbly. Shocking. The world seemed to be quiet. Kaido, the strongest creature, was beheaded. Doflamingo even stopped thinking for a few seconds. I reacted in horror and dispelled birdcage, ignoring other people, and ran away frantically. Bigmom was even more shocked, stood up, and yelled, "Run!" The huge figure quickly fled from the ground. Kata Cooley and others immediately woke up when they heard it, and fled staggeringly. Dressaros centered on the arena, and half of the island was shattered. Lava is flowing, and flames are everywhere. The president of the Albatross was already far away when birdcage was lifted, and he did not dare to stay. Witnessed the whole process of Vulcan's shot. It's horrible. Today's news can be called the most explosive news of this decade. Luo Feng executed Kaido, and Bigmom and others ran away quickly. Just want to chase and execute them one by one. The clone on the warship suddenly summoned the main body. It seems that someone is asking for opinions, and the clone cannot respond to the answer. After all, it is a clone, just similar to a program. His body flickered, and he wanted to chase Bigmom away. Upon seeing it, Jack the Mammoth burned a large piece of flesh and was struggling to escape. A huge ball of fire left with him. Jack the Drow, executed. Luo Feng looked at the sea in the distance, and the clone was urging. It was the Major and Guion. I have to go back to the warship immediately. Luo Feng, reluctantly, glanced at the direction of Bigmom and others. Forget it, let them go for the time being. If you don't go back, the clone will be seen by them. Luo Feng turned around and disappeared in place. On the marine warship sailing towards Dress Rosa. The clone is on the deck. The Major and Guillaume are by their side, anxiously asking for advice. Luo Feng, Rear Admiral, just now the headquarters informed that Kaido and Bigmom have arrived in the nearby waters. If they trade with Doflamingo in Dress Rosa, we will be dead. Quote. The clone did not answer, holding his hands with a pensive expression, bowed his head silently. Luo Feng, Rear Admiral, you are saying something, shall we return to the voyage or move on? The Major looked at this, clone Luo Feng, and felt different from usual. The oppressiveness of that day was gone in his eyes. So when I was reporting in Guillaume, I leaned in too. The clone Luo Feng raised his head at this time, waved his hand, and walked straight into the cabin. Guillaume and the Major looked at each other, not knowing why. Rear Admiral, the real body Luo Feng has rushed back to the ship and sneaked into the cabin. After releasing the clone, Luo Feng put on his army robe and sat in the ship's main ship room. Guillaume and the Major also followed in at this time. Don't worry about this kind of thing. Luo Feng looked at the two with a smile and said. Guillaume was startled, but the Major looked away. Yes, there is this kind of look again, hockey, there is a. The Major's heart quickened a lot. But I always feel something is wrong, and I can't tell. Guillaume is worried. If Kaido and Bigmom are trading on site with Doflamingo. She was not sure to take a ship of soldiers and flee. The statement from the headquarters is also suspicious. This sea area is so large that it is not surprising to go to a certain island. Luo Feng stood up. Jung said. We are Marine, and we haven't been to the mission location. Because I was afraid to go when I heard the suspicion, are we worthy to be the Marine who maintains justice and order? Quote. The two were stunned. Yes, we are Marine. Just because it seems that even the destination of the mission dare not approach, it is nothing to maintain justice and order. Yes, Rear Admiral. Guillaume solemnly saluted. The Major followed in salute. Well, you two, tell my brothers, we are just going to crown 7 warlords of the sea. If we find the 4 emperors, we will retreat immediately. Luo Feng laughed secretly. Sengoku's set of justice and order is really easy to use. Yes, the two went out. Guillaume has changed Luo Feng a bit. The Major was puzzled, but couldn't figure it out, so he could only continue to observe. Luo Feng glanced at the chart. Can't understand. After a fight, let's bask in the sun. Get up and go to the mast. Let's take a good look at the harvest. System. Luo Feng closed his eyes and plunged into his mind. Congratulations to host for executing the guilty Kaido, beasts, pirates and physical improvement. 5,000. Get a premium reward. Reward. Fish and fish fruit. Eudemons. True dragon form. Devil fruit. Ancient species. Tyrannosaurus. Devil fruit. Ancient species. Spiked pterosaurs. Devil fruit. Ancient species. Mammoth. Devil fruit. Paramesha. Transpiring fruit. Devil fruit. Paramesha. Squeeze the fruit. Devil fruit. Ancient species. Biscuit fruit. Luo Feng was dazzled by the pile of fruits. The improvement in physical fitness is also very pleasant. You must know that the higher the physical fitness, the lower the improvement gained from execution. Still, the premium rewards brought by Kaido have not yet been opened. Luo Feng was very excited. This must be more advanced than Celestial Dragon's rewards. System, quickly, open the advanced rewards. Luo Feng rubbed his palms and fisted, watching the pictures in his mind. The screen of premium rewards began to turn on. The physical fitness bar stops. 3,000. Devil fruit column. Paramesha. Shock fruit. Ability column. Skill sublimation. Synthesis of famous knives. Hockey increased by 100%. Shock fruit. Luo Feng whispered, but he was very surprised. The ideal is to come with a logia, and then put on a vest of the members of the gods. But this is the strongest man in the world, Whitebeard's ability to twist getter. The fruit ability that claims to be able to destroy the world, shock fruit. A punch can cause a tsunami and an earthquake that destroys the earth. It is no exaggeration to say that using shock fruit with Luo Feng's current physical strength, one punch made the red line shattered in half. How can such a powerful fruit ability not surprise Luo Feng? Hey, what does system, skill sublimation mean? The appearance of shock fruit almost made Luo Fang ignore these 4 words. Skills are sublimated, and the moves obtained by the host are fully integrated. If you use knife skills, you no longer distinguish between one knife and the other. Each knife of the host is a powerful slash. The rest is similar. Quote. Luo Fang nodded and looked at the system panel. First eat shock fruit and the genuine snow fruit. Taking out the shock fruit, Luo Fang felt the shocking force coming from him. Swallowed in 2s or 3s. Then I took out the snow fruit and ate it. No skin is left. Ability flows in the body and is then guided by the system to the meridians. Luo Fang is in the observation deck, and you can't see it below. I couldn't help but flick my finger and hit a small crack in the air. A shock was passed. A huge wave suddenly threw up not far from the side of the warship. The marine below was dumbfounded, and they all expressed the magic of the Grand Line. Luo Fang nodded in satisfaction, joy in his heart. And the evolution of snow fruit. System, open the panel. Host, Luo Fang. Weapon, peak execution knife produced by the system. Skills, knife skills peak sublimation, boxing skills peak, leg skills peak. Ability, observation hockey, 320%, armament hockey, 501%, conqueror's hockey, 340%. Unawakened fruit, lion fruit, strong fruit, clone fruit, shock fruit. Barrier fruit, stealth fruit, rusty fruit, light lion fruit. Awakening ability, Mara fruit, big Buddha fruit, thunder fruit. Evolution fruit, snow fruit, freezing ability. Physical fitness, 24,600. System space, pinnacle long knife, famous knife. Sakura 10 and famous knife. Wood dry. Fish fruit, fantasy beast species. Blue dragon form, devil fruit. Ancient species. After snow fruit has evolved, frozen fruit has similar capabilities. It is equivalent to a combination of 2 fruits. Luo Fang feels the evolved ability, powerful, even stronger than Aokiji's frozen fruit. A small snowflake can freeze a large ocean. What if it is snowing? Luo Fang cracked the corner of his mouth. Sure enough, Kaido is a big fat, and the harvest of this trip has taken a big step forward. As for the green dragon fruit, Luo Fang didn't swallow it down, it already has the form of a big Buddha. The development ability waits to go back and then use devil fruit to develop. Because, we'll be in Dress Rosa soon. After the warship sailed for a long time. At dusk, Luo Fang, Gion and other marine soldiers looked at Dress Rosa not far away. Luo Fang, Rear Admiral, is Dress Rosa abnormal? The major took the telescope and looked tremblingly at the island not far away. Half of the land was shattered, thick black smoke kept coming out of it, and the island was clearly broken. It's not normal to see it personally. Fortunately, on the other half, there are many houses, and they don't seem to have been destroyed. It seems to have gone through a fierce battle. Momoshiki Gion also took a binoculars to observe and was taken aback. Except Luo Fang, I never thought that it would be such a sight when I came to Dress Rosa. Let's talk about it in the past, Luo Fang said with a serious expression. The warship quickly docked on the other side of the coast. The people on the island saw a warship coming and hid in the house. Luo Fang, Gion, etc. After Marine landed on the shore, a team in Marine consciously walked towards the broken half. And Luo Fang and Gion ran to the local residence's office to inquire about the situation. Hello, ma'am, we are. Gion walked to a residential area. Before he could finish speaking, the lady watching at the door snapped and closed the door, seeming to be frightened. Gion was very surprised. After visiting a few more places, it was the same. The residents seemed to be frightened. Rear Admiral, this, Gion ignorant circle. Gion, did you find out, where is Dress Rosa's palace? Luo Fang pointed around. The palace should be the largest and highest. Yeah, where's the palace? Gion was shocked. What's the situation? Luo Fang smiled secretly in his heart. The huge palace was turned into a huge stone by Pika's ability and the man was melted. But this Gion finally reacted. How could the Crane staff send Xiaobai over? Hey, old man, we are from Naval headquarters, what happened here? With sharp eyes, Luo Fang noticed an old man passing by, and when he saw Luo Fang and others, he wanted to avoid him. The old man sighed and said, Marine. You guys are late. What happened here? Guion asked anxiously. The elderly may be older, but they are not as scared as the people just now. Stopped and said slowly. A few days ago, His Majesty King Doflamingo came here with 2 great pirates. Today, the first bullfighting arena where the king took office was held. The 2 great pirates also sent people to fight. But while fighting, it is said that a man in a black robe came and fought with the king and the 2 great pirates. The land broke, the sea of flames, and even a giant dragon appeared in the sky. Those pirates fighting frightened the citizens. They were scared when they saw outsiders. Look over there. Quote. The old man pointed to the half of the island that was still smoking not far away, and continued. There used to be Dress Rosa's palace and arena, and there is still a block nearby. Now it's all in ruins, and the flames have not gone out yet. How is it possible? Who is here? Guion was taken aback. The pirates were fighting. The dragon should be Kaido. What about the black-robed man? Could it be that the celestial pirates? Luo Feng nodded and said. Thank you, old man. At this time the marine team came back. Luo Feng, Rear Admiral, there is a ruin ahead, lava is flowing, and some corpses can be seen. The team reported what they saw to one side, with surprise in their eyes. That kind of battle traces, even the land is not complete. Luo Feng nodded, and walked forward with all marine personnel. He took out the phone worm and kept contacting Doflamingo. Heavenly Yaksha did not answer. Luo Feng said with a frown. It should be someone who came and had a fight with Doflamingo and Kaido. Doflamingo was missing, either he was chasing the enemy or he was chased by the enemy. Guion said so. Maybe killed, Luo Feng said, seriously. With that, they walked into the battlefield, but were stunned. Along the way, there were charred bodies, some still maintained the posture of shooting, and some were covered by the earth shaking. The unpleasant smell filled the surroundings. What? Guion and the marines exclaimed. Luo Feng pretended not to know, and said eagerly. What's wrong? Guion pointed to a corpse in front of him. A corpse that was not charred, but was beheaded. The huge body, with stab wounds all over, seemed to have been burned by flames, but it was not charred, and there was a slight black smoke. Not far away, there was fear on his head. Hundred beasts. Kaido. All marines were shocked. No, it doesn't have to be. Kaido is known as the strongest creature. This may be fake. Guion said incredulously. Who was able to wound Kaido like this and beheaded? Obviously doubtful. His identity has yet to be confirmed. Contact headquarters, quickly. Luo Feng looked horrified and said to Guion quickly. Yes. Guion raised the phone bug in his hand and dialed out. I'm Sengoku. Guion actually dialed the marshal's phone directly. Marshal Sengoku. We came to Dress Rosa, we can't reach Doflamingo. As soon as he connected to Guion, he said immediately. What's the situation? It seems that there has been a big battle here. There is also a corpse resembling Kaido around. Guion quickly reported the situation. What? There was a shocked voice from Marshal Sengoku, and it took a long time. Luo Feng, Rear Admiral, and Guion, your warship will return to the headquarters immediately, and someone will handle it there. Sengoku gave the order. Yes, hang up the phone worm. Let's go, Guion. Brothers, let's return. Luo Feng, who heard about the return flight, seemed to be very active. Yes, these marines go faster. Fortunately, there is no need for them to stay behind. There is a corpse of Kaido here. There are also various scorched corpses. The earth is broken and tattered. Luo Feng led everyone back to the warship and returned quickly. Everyone on the warship was still talking about Dress Rosa. What kind of battle happened? And that corpse, will it really be Kaido? The other side. Bigmom, the remaining Katakuri, Doflamingo, and the surviving Sugar, etc. Drove the queens chanting and escaped a long way. Everyone's faces were pale. With the joy of the rest of their lives, the panic in their eyes had not completely receded. Why are there such horrible characters appearing? Doflamingo is still sitting on the deck shivering, his injuries are still in severe pain. The Kaido pirates were completely destroyed, more than half of the officers of the Bigmom pirates were killed, and the Don Quixote family was almost completely destroyed. Bigmom gasped. With blood still flowing from the wound on his body, he glanced at Doflamingo and said, "You haven't really understood the horror. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more."